Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. I'm not important, I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but we have somebody that is very important. This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
You can say it. You can say it. Go ahead,
I
say
said
it,
I,
brother.
I said good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family. That's all.
Okay. That's how we're going to get now. Oh, my God. Look at the time. Look at the time. Let him before I get too silly this morning. This ain't Wednesday yet. Uh, what's going on in the political arena, man? Anything going on? Anything happen?
People need to. I'm particularly watching local elections and things like that now, and I have different friends who are running for different offices. We
Mm-hmm.
got Miss Janice Laws. I don't know if people remember. She's running for insurance commissioner again here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
She owns her own insurance firm. I've spoken with her on several occasions when she ran last time, and definitely she had a great turnout. And remember what I usually talk about with, like, say for instance, you got your insurance is just too high.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a commissioner, and
Yeah.
probably in your state, that is contributing to that. If you don't choose the right commissioner, prices will continue to increase, and people will continue to struggle with that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to have insurance commissioners. Shout out to Miss D, who's running for Secretary of State here in Georgia as well. Another one of my friends, Miss Stacy Hill, who is running for Cherokee County as well. And these are people that I've worked with in the community
Mm-hmm.
who are participated in community outreach programs and things like that. And they trying to be the change that they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
They getting involved and they running for these particular offices, and it does not matter who has had those offices prior. I don't care if the opposition has had those offices for the last 20 years. If you
Mm-hmm.
got a great idea and you believe that you can appeal to people, it is very easy for sometimes for people to win these types of elections. So definitely get involved, support candidates. Shout out to my actual cousin, Miss Lisa Coney. She's running for office in her state as well as a representative. And that's what people need to do. Get
Mm-hmm.
involved.
And you said, Leonard, it doesn't matter how long a person has been sitting in a seat, and to your point,
Change.
Patsy, when she ran for the attorney general,
Mr. Danny
uh,
Porter.
in here in Gwinnett County,
Hmm.
when she ran for that, that person has sit in that seat for over 20 something
Over
years.
20 some years,
Yeah,
Danny
and
Porter was
yeah.
the district attorney there.
And people say, well, ain't nobody gonna beat him. He been in that seat so long.
Right.
That's his seat.
It ain't things ain't gonna never change and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. You've heard the
hmm
story before.
Exactly, exactly. And she ran,
Yes.
and
And
she
one.
won, and and now he don't have a seat right now. He's not sitting
That's
in that
right.
seat any longer, and so that's what it takes, man. And see, people don't understand, Leonard. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for a person to actually go and to run for office. It's a lot of things that you're placed up under the magnifying glass, and
Yes.
Bishop he's running again too, as
That's
well as
right.
his wife.
As a wife, yes.
She's running, and so it takes a lot to place yourself in that situation. What they're gonna talk about, how they're gonna do this, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna blah blah. It's so many things that's tied in. But if you care for the people enough, if you care for the situations enough, you're willing to go there and put yourself up under that magnifying glass because you care for the people and you want what's best for the people. Now,
Right.
we
And
go ahead.
there's a lot of things that we see now that are changing, particularly here. We see a lot because we have a lot of people who get involved here in Georgia
Mm-hmm.
because we know Georgia is still a battleground state.
Yes, sir.
And there is a certain type of, how do you say, attitude that needs to be put to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Poor leadership hurts everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked leadership hurts everybody.
That good old boy system got to go.
It has to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we get it to go. Help people out who want to run for office, support their campaigns, send them a couple dollars if you can't be there in person. because they always need money. That money goes for them to put signs up and to get out in the community and to
Mhm.
hold events so people can speak with them. I know a lot of candidates have virtual events as
Mhm.
well. And so, one, we just have to support those people that are running for public office.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look here, and do it with the right heart.
I would hope so.
Yeah, do it with the right heart, and get out there, man, and represent. And like I say, Leonard, what did they ever do about the water situation here in Georgia?
Well, they come to contractual agreements,
Mm-hmm.
and those contractual agreements usually they're usually pretty decent agreements.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issues come from people when they have interest other than that of making sure that people have access to clean water.
Mm-hmm.
There's underlying agendas as it relates to where certain thing where water may be, where
Mm-hmm.
development may be
Mm-hmm.
planned to go,
Yes.
things like of that nature, or the increase in population. Is there a prediction there that causes people to believe that the water would be scarce for some reason?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people have other interests as it relates to water use, where
Mm-hmm.
most people may just consider clean drinking water,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, but we have to pay attention to that. Wherever there is opposition, there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, as activists, we bring out the issues that relate and affect people the most.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you think about water rights and things like that, you also have to understand that our waters are being polluted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, if there is a water issue somewhere where we notice, like, say, for instance, something comes up like in Flint, Michigan, or
Mm-hmm.
what have you, or has your city mentioned, or is there any discussion of a problem with keeping the water clean
Mm-hmm.
for some reason? Are there improvements to your sewer systems and things like that that may be necessary, which are major projects and things
Mm-hmm.
like that that need that, because there's going to be a expenditure for that if necessary.
Yeah.
We see where some cities start having these huge sinkholes, which usually are caused by probably decaying things that carry water back and forth
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, that just wear and tear on pipes. Infrastructure systems need to be replaced. When we talk about infrastructure, I think we've heard, you hear the president in his, excuse me, his bills and his budgets, for instance. And when they talk about infrastructure, those
Mm-hmm.
are the things that keep your maintenance up in your city, bridges and all these types of things, roads, assistance for that. We know that we have in the different states Department of Transportations. DOTs are very important,
Mm-hmm.
huge contracts. They maintain the roads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
and we know how often we have things that go on, especially the number of, say, for instance, car accidents and things of that nature due to failing roads.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get tired of their car being tore up all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people, one of the major complaints in a lot of cities is, who gonna fix these potholes?
Mm-hmm.
You say, why is potholes so important? Because potholes destroy cars, and cars get you from place to place. And if your car is always getting tore up because you constantly going down a particular street, what's that gonna do? Cost
Mm-hmm.
you money.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you want your streets fixed, and a lot of people focus on that and determining whether or not sometimes their representatives have done anything for them. What do the
Mm-hmm.
streets look like in your neighborhood?
Mm-hmm. I know I could go to some parts here in Atlanta, and man, the roads, man, I'll be
Some
like,
streets I ain't driving down.
God, yeah, yeah, you can't. You can't. You can't. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning, sir?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a beautiful new day, fellas.
Hey, welcome to you as
Morning.
well, brother. What do you say about this? We're talking about the voting and the different offices and things like this, and we're now talking about the people that's in office that's not doing anything, say for your roads and for the water that you drink. Leonard said a lot of times in some places, man, the water system is being poisoned, like in Flint.
I mean, yeah, that's obvious. I mean, every city you go to, the water is different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you have people that test that water in every city or wherever they're treating the water for the water for the population. So yeah, you go to some cities and it is, you know, different. They have different levels of contaminants that they will allow
Mm-hmm.
of bacteria. Some will allow more than others. Some will allow more fluoride than others. So many different things that we don't even pay attention to when it comes to that water.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard you ask about the water situation. I think you were talking about the water between the states.
Yeah.
Well, at one point in time, Georgia and Alabama, and I think
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi, or it may have
Mm-hmm.
been Tennessee,
Yeah.
was going back and forth about some water that they were sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're gonna ever get that
Excuse
stuff
me,
settled. But
Newton
I really
County
don't.
DOC
I don't know if they
meeting.
really want to,
Mm-hmm.
if they can,
Mm-hmm.
because you have all these politicians in these states that have this stronghold that when it comes time to cooperate with each other, they used to have it their way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the politicians here in Alabama, that good old boy system ain't trying to fold to nobody because they used to have it their way.
Yep.
Good old boy system in Georgia the same way.
Same
So I
thing.
mean, you know, when
Yep.
it comes time for them to go against each other, who's gonna fold? Who's gonna
Mm-hmm.
say, well, you know what? I declare myself the submitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know if they'll ever get that situation solved, even if it's a situation that should exist. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you think about what's best for humanity and best for the population, you know, and being fair amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can't have a problem with water being poisoned in different communities.
But excuse me. But see, my whole thing is when you're supposed to be in office and you're quote unquote supposed to be for the people and you're supposed to be for the people, it's not a matter of who's going to win, it's who's going to win it. What's best for the people? What's best for the people that we're representing? Okay, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, we got this situation going on with the water. What's best for the people? It doesn't matter whether I take a loss, you take a loss, or whatever. The people have to win, and hopefully, the people that's in
Right.
office would feel as though the people would have to win. But we all know that it's not that way. Go ahead, Rico.
Well, they all feeling that way. It's just the representatives from Alabama are saying that I want my people to win.
Mm-hmm.
Representatives from Georgia saying they want their people to win. So it
Mm-hmm.
is to a certain extent, but they don't do it completely.
Mm-hmm.
They only do it for doing it for those that they represent, and they don't care about the people
Wow.
that need representation from other states.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens in cities like that, in local government. You have councilmen that are over wards. The other councilmen don't care about those other wards across those tracks.
Mm-hmm.
They only vote pertaining to what they see in the demographics and the residents in their wards that they represent. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you only see what the needs are of the people that you represent in your ward, but your ward is like the upper 10% of the population of the community. I'm gonna say, what's the chances? What are the chances of a person being able to understand the needs on the other side of the tracks when their vote is going to determine what's going on the other side of the tracks?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I mean, you know that. I mean, and that's in one city. That's
Mm-hmm.
just in one city that you got one side of the tracks don't care about what's going on the other side of the tracks. So you know when you start crossing county lines and state lines, it's the same thing. People are looking out for their best interest.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Leonard, politics is a dirty game, man. And like Rico said, man, is I'm here to represent my group of people. I don't care about what y'all doing over there. If y'all fall apart, even if y'all die, I don't care. I'm representing you. You put me in office to represent you and this community. Are we that selfish?
Well, it's not a matter of selfishness. It's a form of government to make sure that every community has a seat at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And those communities aren't communities that are together because of some type of religious or race type thing. It's where
Mm-hmm.
you live. It's
Mm-hmm.
the area where what's going on in the area where you live. The
Mm-hmm.
person represents those people that live in that area for the very simple reason that there may be another person representing another section that may be trying to take the majority of the budget expenditures.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to spend the money over here instead of spending it over here. So that's why it's necessary, because there is an attempt to disenfranchise certain areas of your city.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain areas of your city that is not targeted for improvements, or funding is steered away. So that's why we have different types of programs. Like, say, for instance, I remember block grants and things like that, or some areas that are represented are designated as distressed areas entitled to certain types of funds and things like that other
Mm-hmm.
areas are not entitled to. So there's always going to be a need for someone to represent those areas, especially when we have histories of gerrymandering,
Mm-hmm.
redlining, and all these types of things. So
Mm-hmm.
somebody has to stand up for everybody in that city that's paying them taxes because they're spending your money.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know how your money is being divided and what it is being used for. And your representative, it should be representing you for that very reason.
Wow. But and I understand exactly what you're saying, but Rico, is there and I still kind of see there's a selfishness in play here. Um can you see that selfishness?
Well, group politics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. It's almost separating itself into you representing this group and this group only, where you have to still have an open mind for the whole. Like
Mm-hmm.
even with state representation, you have these representatives that represent the districts, certain districts, and they're only concerned about their district. Now they might cooperate with the other ones that's on the borders of them, but for the most part, they're trying to look out for their district. And their district might cover 3 or 4 counties,
Mm-hmm.
5 counties. That's a lot of people to represent. But then just think how many people in those districts are missing out on his representation because he still only sees one side of the tracks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it happens. It's a trickle effect
Yeah.
on who's being left out with this representation and who's not, all based on the way it's set up. And I don't really think you can clear it up unless the person that is the representative, the representative, actually makes an effort to try and walk on the other side of the tracks and see what needs to be done. And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people too need to understand how much funding gets lost. A lot of these cities and states, a lot of these districts lose grant money because the representatives don't act on it. They
Mm-hmm.
waste it. It doesn't get spent.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Leonard was saying. He's probably better to speak on this. It's a lot of different things that comes with politics. The reason why the average citizen should always pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
because many of the things that we ask for, there is funding for it. But the representatives that we have don't have the support of the rest of the city or the county or maybe the rest of their own community that they represent to help them get the things done.
Mm-hmm.
So the money goes to waste. And people, I mean, there's plenty of grants and funding, grant money and funding out there for cities and states to build infrastructure, to help with schools and with road work and stuff like that. But most times, I'm gonna say most times, sometimes that money would just get lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Ray, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Ray, we talking this morning about a little bit about politics. And yeah, wake yourself up, man. Wake yourself up. You young fella,
I'm
man.
up. I'm at work.
There you go. Now, you're a politician. Leonard's a politician, and Rico's a politician. Y'all all in the same state, pretty much in the same area. You represent this area, and each one of them represent their own area. Should you care as a politician? Should you care simply of the people that you represent, or should you care for the whole city and the whole state? Or is can you see what that could be a selfishness tied into that? How do you view that?
I would think it would be a concept of understanding initially you're first, but then you should have an idea of building up everything around you. Because
Hmm.
one that goes into creating a support system and a group that's able to check each other and support each other and lean on each other. But then that's just overall. That's like a community is made up of small factions. So you can break it down: this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, this road makes a town. This town, this town, this town makes a county. These counties make the state. These states make the. You know what I'm saying? So in some way, shape, or form, it got to be an understood idea.
Hmm. That's good. That's good. And then I think one of the and then center yourself, brother. You kind of off center there a little bit. Yo, and see the thing about it, I think what he's speaking about is that trickle down effect. If the community that you're representing is a well above, but say raised community is way below. Could that affect your community?
Most definitely for the people there in that
Mm-hmm.
community. Those are
Mm-hmm.
that's why they need to make sure that they have a representative that are addressing issues that are most important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because what may be important, and say for instance, I don't live in a city. I
Mm-hmm.
live in a rural area. So we have a board of commissioners and everything. But now if I go right down across the street, that's the city line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you think about contracting services and all those types of things that are available in the area, that has to do with your politicians in your area.
Mm-hmm.
If you have trash problems, that's a political issue. Some people actually have that issue in their county where trash may or may not be picked up on a regular basis. If trash is left around, guess what happens? Then you get rodents disease. Or say,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, some areas have issues. I'm just thinking of one county particular. Tires, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some areas in certain communities got nothing but tires piled up, used tires and things like that, where someone seems like they're just discarding things on the side of the road or in certain communities or abandoned areas where
Mm-hmm.
people have just started dumping junk, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
The pile everybody else is looking around wondering who else did it. So who's supposed to fix it?
Mm. Mm.
You would have to look to someone to fix it.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times when we went in certain areas to work in certain areas, one of the things I know that was popular was the cleanup days in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to clean up the community today, picking up
Mm-hmm.
trash, and we want everybody to come out and things like that. You have certain issues in certain areas where business is booming. Then you have areas where business is not. One
Mm-hmm.
of the contentions in some cities is warehouse space and taxes. Are you allowing companies to come in and occupy half of your warehouse space and they not paying no taxes to do business there?
Mm.
While your taxes as a homeowner constantly increase, while they're
Mm-hmm.
giving favors to corporations who are making millions and millions and millions of dollars
Yes.
using spaces in your county, in your areas, where you have an unincorporated and an incorporated city area. Are there abandoned buildings in your
Mm-hmm.
area? What is the housing situation?
Mm-hmm.
Is homelessness a problem? You hear debates about low income and affordable housing. People need to understand the difference. Affordable housing has to do with people with money looking for discount. Low income housing is for people who have issues with income and they have to at certain thresholds, some right above the poverty level.
Mm-hmm.
That's subsidies provided to make sure that people don't have to be homeless because they can't afford a place to live. That's what low income housing addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Affordable housing addresses more market issues and the cost of housing in a market, not necessarily related to people who have income issues.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to understand the difference. People
Mm-hmm.
always say affordable housing, affordable housing. Well, affordable housing in some areas may be $1,200 for rent.
Mm-hmm.
That does not address the poverty situation or the homeless situation. But it
Mm-hmm.
may be affordable,
Exactly.
but it does not address the situation of people who cannot afford even that
Mm-hmm.
affordable housing.
And some people can't. And
Right.
some people,
Affordable housing does
yeah.
not mean affordable housing for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It means affordable housing for people with substantial amounts of income.
Mm-hmm.
And based on where you live, like say for instance, affordable housing in New York City is a lot different than affordable housing in Newton County, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be aware of what it is people are actually wanting these positions for. What do you
Absolutely.
want to do as commissioner? What do you
Absolutely.
want to do as representative?
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Rico, we read a little bit into the homeless or the houseless, like some people like to refer to it, the houseless community. Um, with all the abandoned homes, with all the abandoned buildings, if you will, hotels and all these different things, is there really can that homeless situation be fixed?
Oh, no doubt. That I mean, there's been plenty of opportunity to fix that. I mean, that's a that question right there is really probably the biggest waste of a question that you could ask.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, that situation, man, that's too much too much property,
mm-hmm.
too much land,
Mm-hmm.
too much money floating around for people to not be able to take care of that homeless issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, that question right there, man. I can't even go into detail on that. That's just plain and simple a matter of right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we know how much money is out here and how much is being wasted.
And you said
But
something right
you
there,
asked the
Rico.
question.
You said something right
Go
there.
ahead.
You say it's a question of right and wrong, and compassion, and because I think there's a lack of compassion for the individuals, man, and people just don't care. It can be fixed. I know it can be fixed. I know it can, but why doesn't it? Why isn't it?
Well, you you asked the question earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's more of a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way that humanity is built right now. We speak about how children are not being reared right, and then when they go to the school and they don't have all the things that other children have, the teachers tend to drift toward the students that make their job the easiest. Even when I
Mm-hmm.
was in school, the students that had the easiest, or what did the best and made the teacher's job the easiest, is the ones that the teachers spent the most time with, because they could go ahead and progress with them. But the ones that were struggling, they didn't get as much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that's an epidemic. So if it's happening in the schools, it's happening in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening in the real world. If children are going through that, being neglected and being pushed to the side because they don't have or they're the have-nots, the have-nots in the streets are still going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happens with most of these representatives. Maybe if one of the representatives came from a homeless camp or experienced that once before in their lives, then they would have more of an eye out for that detail.
Mm-hmm.
Which the young city councilman that I deal with, she has a heart for that because she was in foster care. And her mom was on drugs. I mean, and she's still going through some of those situations. So she's one of those politicians that had just a grassroots campaign that built momentum from sincerity. It was just natural. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to hire a political advisor or anything. And all these other politicians calling her, asking her for advice, thinking that she went the route that the normal person went. When really and truly, she just went with her heart. And
Mm-hmm.
that the sincerity that she showed with her heart poured out so much that that's what pulled everybody in for her. It was undeniable that she was sincere
Mm-hmm.
about representing people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
so you asked a question earlier about, is it sort of selfish? And it
Mm-hmm.
is somewhat the responsibility of the representative to look out for the people that he's there to represent, he or she.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't have that, if that community doesn't have representation, they could be the community that people avoid. They go the long way around and they start building roads around so people can avoid that part of the community. They call them eyesores.
Mm-hmm.
So, those people have to have representation too. And if your community is the one that's not getting represented properly, then yeah, it's gonna affect the entire community
Mm-hmm.
because now you have people that's actually not desiring to bring businesses there because of how bad the poverty is in certain communities in that city. So I mean, it is important for you to represent your community to make sure they meet the basic needs and the basic standards of a community that looks like it can progress.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is built around the potential to progress when it comes to these cities. If they're going to survive, if they don't look like they have the potential to progress, other companies are not going to come in.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. That's good. That's good. Ray, what do you say to that, man? This homeless or houseless situation, man, can it be fixed?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I was looking into there's a couple projects or acts going on with veterans, and that's something I never understood. Like, how is a veteran homeless
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the military? Like, that's like they serve the country. That should be a place for them. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you go and you looked at, like, you go into certain impoverished inner city areas, and it's like buildings with no copper or buildings without this, that, and the third. It's like, but you already gave these people the ability to fix that. So why can't we? You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
my biggest thing is in using the veterans that are down and out, essentially, which is a lot of them, oddly enough. Like we're part, like us, like me, Leonard, my dad, we're part of a minority. A lot of people don't understand that. Like
Mm-hmm.
veterans that come out and basically have a means to live, that's a minority.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are floating on that or under that line, barely surviving. But it's like they have the technical skills. I know a plethora of older veterans that can wire up a house and build a house within seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we using them to fix up these buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Creates work, creates a place to live. So to me, it's just like you get two types of politics. You get the politicians, the ones that are for money and the ones that are for the people. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
see, and you can see it certain, like an example would be the prison system. And one that supports people would be focused on what prison is actually supposed to do, rehabilitate and allow someone to integrate back into society. That was the original right of prison. Prison isn't supposed to be somewhere where you lose all humanity and recollection of what it is to be in a society. You're supposed to get rehabilitated
Mm-hmm.
and then added back into society. Then on the other side, you have politicians that use the prison system for money.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's what we have usually, is either for people or for money. And unfortunately, like eventually it gets to the point to where money corrupts a larger majority, because you don't have, now when you go into being into politics, when they say what's your background or what's your basically a paper trail of why you're qualified to do this. To be blunt, there's no qualifications. A sound
Mm-hmm.
mind should be the qualification.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart? We got Charles with us. I'm gonna go to Charles as well, but what's on your heart in regards to what Ray just said?
You know, it's funny he brought that up because I was looking last night at the gubernatorial candidates for Alabama that's running under the Democratic ticket,
Mm-hmm.
and none of them were really qualified to be a politician. But there's one woman; she's a black woman, and she went to school for political law. The rest of them are businessmen. One of them was a certified nurse. Did a lot of volunteering now. I mean, and um, this is their first jump into the political arena. I mean, they didn't start small. They didn't start in the local area or go through county. They were running straight for governor. And most of the ones, even on the Republican side, no, on the Republican side, big businessmen,
Mm-hmm.
big businessmen with an agenda. And so you start thinking about these people that's getting into these situations, and like Ray said, you know what the agenda is because they have no affiliation with the community. They come out of nowhere. You might not have heard of this person ever. Then all of a sudden you find out, oh, this is the CEO of these companies that you see in your city. Now they want to run for mayor. Now they want to run for governor.
Mm-hmm.
And they get all this momentum based off the money. I mean, it's amazing how much money you need to even campaign,
Mm-hmm.
to put these endorsement ads that's full of propaganda for you to tell and spread the lies to taint people to vote for you and to deceive people on what you stand for and to use all kind of wordplay. You got to have a lot of money to play. So now the big businessmen come in, and like Ray said, most of them actually come in to represent the 1%, corporate America, the big business people, because you need economy. See, I believe that's what we're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Politics has been taken over by economics, and the people aren't as important as the economic stability of a community.
Mm.
And for the economic stability of a community to progress or do what it needs to do, you got to make sure that the 1% or the top tier people are there and happy and doing their part. So most things are going to be catered to them, sad to say,
Mm-hmm.
because they're the movers and the shakers. They're the investors. So, we have a system now based on politics that has been overtaken by economics and lobbyists and dirty money. People using agendas to try to get things done to benefit their pockets and get more tax breaks. And you know, I also would like what Ray said, man, about the prison. They manipulated that system, but the other side of it is that when I was in jail, the Bushes owned the commissary, the Clintons owned the phone lines, and if I ain't mistaken, the mayor of Jacksonville owned the company that gave us the oranges that we ate every day. So, I mean, you know, you have these people that's invested in making money off the prison system, but they won't invest money into the school system to prevent the children that's going to be the future prisoners. They allow a system that will let them slip through the cracks so they would have an opportunity to make sure they can make that money on down the road, those long-term investments. So if you know anything about Alabama politics, that's really what's going on here. Wow. They're building 3 mega prisons, but they don't want to invest into the schools. And then they're trying to go into investing a lot of money into creating a bill to create charter schools and take funding away from the state schools or the public schools. And these are all big money politicians that are actually flocking. The reason why they're flocking to the councilman from my city, because she's one of the few people in Alabama that's in politics that actually studied political law. So all of these vultures have been coming around her trying to get what they can out of her because they really have been playing politics the wrong way, and somebody like her could come in and clean it up.
Wow, that's good. Now, Charles, what do you say about that? How much of politics? How much of a politics and business? Politics and business. You got a lot of people that's in business that's going into politics. How does that intertwine with each other?
With what?
Politics and business.
What about it? I'm sorry.
You got so a lot of people that's businessmen and women that's going into politics right now. Is that a parallel, or how do they intertwine with each other?
Yeah, I think it's always been, because even what Rico was saying about these businessmen and businesswomen going into politics, we're going to be the governor, meaning to govern over people just like they govern over their companies. You understand? So you have to see the way they govern over their companies is probably the way they will govern over their people. But also you got to look at it like this. A lot of them go into it to shake things up, because a lot of politicians are just in it the same way for the money. You understand? And they've been politicians for 40 years and never held another job ever. And that's just what they do. You understand? They don't hold a job. They just do politics, and then they make money and they get millions and millions and millions off of politics when you're supposed to work.
Let me step in 1 second, Charles. And just for clarity for the listeners, business people are in business for the same reason, to make money, though, correct? You don't start a business not to make money.
But what does that have to do with politics, though? I thought we were talking about two different things.
You just said that a lot. You just said that a lot of politicians go in there because they just want to see the money. And I asked you, is that why business people go into business?
Okay, yeah. I agree with you on that. A business person opens his or her business to make money. Okay, a politician should not be getting into politics to make money off the backs of people. You understand? Like Black Lives Matter shouldn't have been making money off the backs of dead black men and buying mansions instead of helping out. And you don't see no Black Lives Matter schools, like that type thing. You understand? Politics is politics, business is business. Like Rico was saying, yes, a lot of them get into that thing of politics, but I think a lot of them get into politics because they see the way that business people think and the way politicians think are two different ways. I can use your money to make money or sit on the money. Like if you've ever been in the military, you look at, it takes the military a long time to do something. But if you look at a business person, they got skin in the game. And if you're a businessman, you understand skin in the game, that you got to get it done or you're going to lose out. So a lot, not all, but a lot of business people think that way. But we know, like, you looking at like Maxine Waters and look at her district and how ran down and bad it is, but look at her house. You get it? So we can go a lot of different politicians, from the Democrats to the Republicans, and look at how they do things in their district and where they live at and how they want other people to live or can't live.
Mm.
So I look at businessmen because I place myself as more as a businessman, that a business person has more to lose when they do certain things.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, how do you feel about that, Leonard? Because and Mutual Line, Charles, got a little background noise coming from you. Mutual Line from there. How do you feel about that? Because I asked the question. He said a lot of politicians go into business, go into politics because they want to make money. And I asked the question, isn't that the same thing that a business person is going to business for because they want to make money? And Charles, you agree with me. You say, yeah, that does make sense. Don't shake your head no, because you just agree with me now. But Leonard, what do you say to that? Unmute yourself, Leonard. You're muted.
There has to be a balanced approach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people have the opportunity to run on the values that they believe in. And as business people are usually not in support of social projects
Mm-hmm.
or community issues at all. The only interest they have is how does it affect their bottom line. And everything to them will be a bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think about that before you elect somebody. There are a lot of people that think just because they run businesses is that they should run government.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea. The last person that was appointed here, Kemp appointed the chick that owned the, excuse me for calling the chick, the lady that owned one of those, the basketball team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Horrible politician.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. Didn't even look as if she even cared about, supposedly, the job she was given.
Mm-hmm.
All she focused on was money. You never heard her talk about very many issues related to communities and things like that. Say, for instance, like this trend of a lot of these, I was reading, using certain issues that appeal to Black people to secure their vote. But however, their interest and their platforms are completely against those communities of color.
Mm-hmm.
But they white Republicans running on issues professing to be concerned about honoring previous social, like say for instance, the issue with Martin Luther King and the guy running for office, who him and Bernice King got into an issue here recently,
Mm-hmm.
where his commercials are, in fact, he's standing in front of the bridges, Edmund Pettus Bridge, and all these things. I'm a Marine, and you should vote for me because I'm a fighter, and I'm this, that, and the other. And then saying that MLK's daughter had no idea of the politics of her father and things of this issue. When you see these types of ads and things, I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to use these monuments or what have you, but my support of issues is completely different. That's to deceive voters. Because think about it. If I owned a business and I was thinking about opening this huge company, I'm going to need a tax abatement. How do I get that unless I got somebody sitting on that council or that commission board to give me that tax abatement?
Mm-hmm.
Most people I'm not against people who have agendas and plans. You should have an agenda and you should have a plan, and it should involve you prospering that plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not focusing on how much money people get paid. What are they doing? What are they doing their job? I don't fault people for having interest.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, are they doing the job that the people elected them to do? If the people that elected them are happy with the job they're doing, I'm not going to really criticize that.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you feel about the comment that was made about Maxine Waters? And she may live in a big beautiful home and all that stuff, but the people in her community that she represent are less than, or living less than. How does that set with you?
It has no impact on me at all. For the very simple fact, Maxine Waters can live and do whatever she would like to do with her money, just like everybody else in that district. What you want her to do? Go hand out cash? There are several different projects in several different areas, and this is the thing about it. I am not involved in taking away people's right to live how they want to live, despite the fact that I may think of it a certain way. Certain people look at a certain people's area. Oh, that's just a trashy old terrible area, and ain't nobody over there no good. And that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's your opinion. You know, so it's people are people who live the way they want to live. Your representative don't run your life.
Mm-hmm.
They administrate over the district. So why Maxine live where she live, how big her house is, has nothing to do with politics.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
What's she supposed to do? Live in a shack? But then again, it's a lot of people, being because it's the Easter season or whatever, like a lot of people who believe that all preachers should be broke. That don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me go here. We got a couple of people on the phone. I'm coming to you next. I'm gonna go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart real quickly, brother, before I go to these phone lines?
I agree. I mean, what matters is if she has an open door, she extends herself to those that's more in need. And I don't think she actually keeps herself away from these people. I think people have as much access to her as they need. I think she opens the door for people to get in contact with her and handle whatever they need done to address whatever problems that they have. So, you know, if she did live on the better side of town, well, you know, maybe she took advantage of her education. Maybe she has an occupation that pays her enough to be able to do that. Maybe she can use her brain enough to create a business to live on that side of town. But the thing is, you know, there's nothing wrong with you living on the other side of the tracks. But at the same time, make sure you understand or represent everybody fully and have a door open to make sure that they have representation too. Mm-hmm. See, that's where the problem comes in. Sometimes the people on the other side of the tracks, in that 1%, mainly white Republicans, just like to ball up a whole community and throw them away. Ain't nothing but crime and drugs over there. All they want to do is smoke and hang out and this and that, but they're not thinking about the programs and the opportunities not available, the things that they lack access and exposure to. So a good representative on the other side of the tracks might say, well, hey, you know, those kids deserve the same opportunities too. You know, we want them to be involved in sports and small young activities, or activities when they're young. Well, maybe we need to make it more convenient for them to be able to participate in these things. So many different things that other communities don't have that some doing that right there together. So, like, you know, I don't have a problem with where that person lives. What I have a problem with, or what I look for, is if they give access, or do they have relationships with everybody that they represent. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't have relationships with everybody that they represent, then the people that they're not representing needs to start voting and getting them out of there.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning? This is the Morning Glow.
So we talking politics today?
Yes, sir.
Politics. Yeah. Okay. So it's the neighborhood, the capital in upscale neighborhood.
Mm. Is it?
I'm just asking for a friend.
Is it upscale? Say that one more time.
Is the capital, the nation's capital, in an upscale neighborhood?
No.
Can you just walk around there and just enjoy yourself?
No.
Or they'll bust you in your head if you drift off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's go. How about the capital in Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking.
No.
What would you think?
If
your local, either politician or even, we talk about, like Leonard said, you talk about the preachers should be broke. The devil is a lie. So what would you say if your local politician either mow his yard, his house run down? What would you say? What would you say?
You have an issue with that?
How did we get? And I know, and I don't mind. I understand
Good morning, Tasha.
that is Maxine broke?
Mm-hmm.
Is she a broke person? Does she have any money?
Yeah, she has money. She has some money now. She got some money.
So why should she get a? Why should she get a check?
Mm.
What does that make any sense for her? You want to sleep? Want her to sleep on the Capitol floor?
I think one of the things one of Charles' points was, yes, she has money. Yes, she
Yeah,
could go out there and get a house that she wants, but he said, is she getting that, or have she got that? I think a part of his question was, have she gotten that off the backs of the people that she represents? I think that's
Does she get paid? I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Look, the politicians get paid, right?
Mhm.
They got a salary. Not only that, some of them are like we're saying. I guess that's what we're saying. Some of them are business people. They got their own business. That's not the only thing they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't follow them around to try to find that out.
Mm-hmm.
But see, people in neighborhoods, you can fix the neighborhood, and you be careful. Some neighborhoods you fix, and they'll run it back down before the year's up.
Mm-hmm.
Same people. Some people, just me, and my 3 minutes is almost up. Some people, you can put them in an upscale neighborhood, and they'll run that sucker in the ground.
Wow. Let's go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart behind this situation? And good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right, man. What's up, brothers?
Hey, trying to hear your heart. Excuse me, trying to hear your heart on this discussion, man. What's on your heart?
Well, what is the discussion? Because when I came on, I think you guys had already put out the immediate topic. I just heard Maxine Walden and
well,
yeah.
what Charles made the point that about Maxine Waters, and we're talking about politicians and how they should represent and different things of that sort. But he said that if you look at her, and he used her as an example, there's other people he could have used, but he just at that moment used her. Say that she lives in a big, beautiful home, but look at the community that she represents. Most of those people are less than or don't have the same access that she has. Is that good, or is she just making her money off the backs of the community or the people that she represents?
Well, that's some fracking apple bull crap, right?
Why you say?
Apple bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm gonna be pretty. Every single time it come close to election time, the Republican talking point, it's almost like it's driven home, like it's a part of their DNA. Maxine Waters is always the first one they hit first. Right? It is shameful, man. It's shameful how you got a party that I can't even say what I was going to say. That would be wrong. It's just shameful, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
The lady, a good salary. Anybody who makes a good salary and can move across the tracks is going to just do that. Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, I don't care what party you in. If you make enough money to move to a better location, you're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that always gets me with these guys is, you know what? I have no respect for the Republican Party. What if I said that? I have none.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just sat there. They just said, and it's things like this that show you their natural hypocrisy. Because they just sat on national TV and just accused this lady of being a pedophile, they didn't accuse her of being a pedophile. They accused her of being soft on pedophiles, right? And in most cases, it came to a point where it was almost like, well, are y'all calling her a pedophile? Is there like some kind of hidden room in her house where she engages in this behavior? They just went through all that. But yet you don't hear not one of them talk about the travesty of, for example, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan. They so phony, man. It ain't even fake. That's how phony they are, that it ain't even fake no more, man. I don't even know why y'all addressing that issue.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Let me go to Ray. Ray, what's on your heart, brother?
The simple fact that everybody keeps saying on the other side, cross the tracks, is the basis of the mindset being off. There shouldn't be no other side. There shouldn't be no across the tracks. If you for the people, and it all need to be the same. A good example of that would be Gerald Malloy, who was the governor of Hartsville, South Carolina. His kids are in a private school, wealthy man. Kids in a private school, never seen him before. I ain't never heard of these motherfuckers. But to prove that he wanted to help the schools in Darlington County, he put one son in Hartsville High School and the other in Darlington High School. So when people are like, oh, you don't care about us, he's like, no, my kids go to that school, so you know that I'm now concerned about that school and what's going on with the school. And he slowly did that with everything. He placed all of his money, all of his efforts, and all of his time in that county. Invested so much money in businesses, those businesses tanked. Ooh, he gonna take that L with them. But now we look at Hartsville, South Carolina. Sunoco is a Fortune 500 company. There's multiple restaurants that are the upper echelon that are on different TV shows, and people visit these places. That's across the board now. Even my mom is buying a place in the hood, a tea shop in the hood. I mean, when I mean the hood, you can shoot. They shoot the guns. They call the caliber out.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is, Gerald Malloy and other politicians provided the opportunity because they had that. They didn't have that mindset across the tracks. They didn't have that mindset the other side. They're like, nah, it's this side. It's all the same. I'm gonna invest and embed myself into the community. That's all. Because everyone keeps saying this. There ain't no other side. And as far as people tearing down stuff or destroying stuff or not being able to go places, that's mute. Because DC, you can walk around DC, the palest of skin and the whitest of skin right now. I saw that 2 days ago. I saw Becky walk in and out the hood.
Okay.
So there's the concept of gentrification and putting money in places that they want to make something is not an old concept. It is extremely new and it's extremely effective. So for people to say that they're destroying or it's not. It's been effective for the past 15 to 20 years. Have we not been complaining about that as a Black community? I'm pretty sure I've been hearing Black people say they're gentrifying and changing their areas. You don't talk about it unless it's sticking, which it is.
Do you think Maxine Waters is wrong for living where she lived in comparison to the community that she represents?
If she thinks like y'all, she wrong.
What does that mean?
If she think, yeah, I made it to the other side, she wrong. Now, if she's saying I'm trying to get everybody on Maxine level, she good. I don't know the woman. I don't know her plans or her ideology. But if she say other side or I made it out or any of that rhetoric is wrong. That rhetoric is what separates. If you think that you made it to the other side, then you are going to innately think that you're different from these people, and you're not.
Is that a good mindset for a politician?
That's not a good mindset for anyone.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and that does make sense. But let's stay in the alley. We're talking about politicians right now. Is that a good idea or mindset for a politician?
It's the worst mindset for politicians. But that's another problem with the businessmen, right? Because they innately think that. How many politicians? If we know, I don't know all this information like y'all know about politicians, but if you look at it, how many politicians stay in their city? How many politicians invested in their businesses. Not bring their businesses, invested in the businesses there. That's the difference. I don't presume to know all of this stuff, but I know what ideology don't work because I saw it firsthand in a little raggedy town called Hartsville.
Okay, that's good. So the businessman and the politician, there should be a separation there. Okay, Charles, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to. I saw you doing some animations in the
Man,
background.
I did not, because I did not say what you said. I said I did not agree with what you said. I agreed with one part of what you said. I did not agree, but I second everything Ray is saying. And as for going back to speaking about,
let's get some clarity first. You said there's a part that I said for the listeners that I said that you said that you did not say. Clarify that.
I didn't agree with. I didn't agree with. When you said that about Maxine Waters moving out of the all politicians are in it for all businessmen are in business to make money. That is true, but you shouldn't be in politics to make money. You shouldn't be in politics to make money, to get rich off the people.
That's what I said you said.
I say you should not be
in
politics to make money.
That's what I said.
Okay, all right, then we cleared in on that one. You should be in politics to help out the people. That's what you should be. If you're in politics, that's what you should be in it for. That's what I believe. Because if you only in it to make money for yourself, then you the only one gonna make money. Now you in business, most businessmen make money for themselves, but their businesses feed other families. You get what I'm saying? Like if you like this person who owns Gwinnett Inn right here, they're in business for themselves, but I know the people who work for them make money also. So it's two different things. But as for like when you speak about, it seemed like everybody had an excuse for Maxine Waters, and she's not a businesswoman. She's a politician that's been there over 40 years. And anybody to me who's been in politics that long and got rich off the people, I don't care what color they are. It seems like you are more interested in color and party more than I am. And I'm like I said, I'm not a Democrat, and I never voted for a Democrat president because I understand what the Democrat Party is about more than a lot of other people do. You might say you understand, but I know I probably understand more. You might, because y'all go with your feelings and I go with logic. So we just gonna leave it at that.
Let me ask you this question, Charles, and I want to keep everything flowing as it is. But if a person has been in politics as long, if you mirror people together that's been in politics as long as Maxine Waters, put them all in the same room together, be it Republican, Democrat, or independent, or whatever, what is the major difference? Because I can't see a lot of them that's in there and don't want to make money. What is the major difference though? Because you're talking on Maxine, but what's the difference between her and everybody else?
Exactly. I just said I don't care what color or party you with. 40 years is too long. You understand? Unless your area is booming like crazy and everybody making big money there, like we know Maxine Waters area is not, then you should be out of it. How are you constantly getting voted in when your area is trash? There's something about that, y'all. Y'all got to see. And you said it, and everybody else said it. It costs a lot of money to become a politician. It costs even more money to stay a politician in one area for 40 years. It takes a lot of money for that. So what is this money coming from if it's not coming from? Where is this money coming from if it's not? Where is this money coming from if it's not coming from big businesses around the area that back it up? Because poor people is not giving money for these people to become politicians. Poor people ain't doing it. Big business is doing it. So what y'all got it mixed up, man. When y'all really think that is that much of a big difference of these politicians who say that they're for the people, when the big business is the one that's keeping them in there. Let's call a spade a spade. If it's about business, make it business. If you could teach me how to do a business and get out or become and make my area better. If you can teach me how to start a business, make a business, and I can follow what you do and I can make my area better, then why wouldn't I do it? You understand? As for talking points of Republicans, as for talking points for Republicans, we only call out what is real. Now, as for the devil of a judge that just got voted in,
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna
Yeah,
call
we
names.
are, because
No,
y'all said some things about people, and I need to say some things myself. If you always block me from saying stuff, but you don't block other people. Now,
my
as for
thing,
this Satan of a judge who
Charles, we're not gonna do that, brother. We're not gonna call names. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna let nobody do that. We're not gonna sit here and call people's names and call them Satan and the devil and all this stuff. We're not gonna do that. That's not what we're gonna do. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, brother, man, you make some real powerful points. And then you turn right around and you just step on everything you just said. You make some powerful points. A brilliant man. But then you take your fingers and you put them slam in the back of your throat and regurge everything you just said as far as meaning. Because if you're gonna go with that mindset, I think what triggers me when you go with that mindset is that you only hold your measurement to one side of the aisle. Come on, man. You can't do that. And then sit here on the radio broadcast and act like you're holding your measurement up to everybody in every party, and you don't. Because the same ideology, I can look at Chuck Grassley, I can look at the Mormon dude, the one that ran for president, Mitt Romney. I can look at Sarah Palin. There's a host of names that I can give you that says, well, hold on now. They represent a people who are not doing so well. And even if I come to the Democratic side of the aisle, I can look at Joe Manchin. I noticed you mentioned your conversation is about Maxine Waters, but it's not about Joe Manchin, who you really want to talk about a wage disparity and a gap, the income wage disparity and a gap. Maxine ain't got nothing on Joe Manchin. You talk about these politicians, but you only talk about the Democratic politician. No, look at your own party, man. That's all I'm saying. If we're going to talk about it, we're going to have an open dialogue, an open discussion that's free and honest. Don't come on DKM radio with all these lies.
Okay.
Don't come on here with all these talking points. Because just like I'm going to dig in the Republicans, guess what? I will dig in the Democrats the same.
Mm-hmm. Let me hold on one second, Kurt. Let me keep this thing going. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, Curtis said it all, man. I mean, it's wild because, man, Charles will come in and say some stuff, man, and I'm going to be honest with you. You know, without all the negative name calling, some of the stuff he's saying is completely true.
Mm-hmm.
But then he'll expose his agenda and show you that he got a personal issue just after he just finished saying that I think with logic and y'all think with emotions. Y'all think with feelings. Then come right back and start acting like fourth grade. That demon devil, black woman. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, like Curtis just said, man, there are so many more other people that do worse that you could mention. But you choose to harp on this woman and then go right back to another black woman. Now, I get what you're saying, but the approach is crazy. What he's saying is we need to be looking at the people in our community that's playing that game and getting them out of the way. I get exactly what he's saying, or the ones that just sitting there being a lame duck. But then some of the things I think he's saying may be a little off as far as the big business. Some of these politicians have become mainstays to the point to where they don't have to spend as much money because the community is just used to and comfortable with those people representing them. I see it in politics all the time. You see some politicians, man, and they'll pour it on heavy. Every commercial break, you see a commercial spewing their propaganda. Trump, MAGA, this and that. Then you have some politicians that know they ain't got nobody.
he disappeared.
Raheem dropped off. He'll be back shortly. But what do you have to say, Charles, about
Does not
these
it
criticisms?
is
Oh, he back.
He back.
everybody
He back. He back. He back.
has a seat that for 40 years doesn't have big money behind them because they're just known for that seat. She might just be the best representative, and nobody in that community wants to run against her like that. How you doing, man? So I just he'll come in with some good logic, man. I mean, it's just it'll go sideways, and it's somewhat disappointing to hear another black man be like that, man, and then just overlook all of these white people in the party, the same party that he represents, and he defends them. You know, that last Supreme Court justice that was accused of raping people, man, somebody was on here defending them. Oh, that was a bunch of lies. I can't believe y'all believe that. I can't believe y'all believe the media. So now I hear him and his son say, y'all, the way y'all think. But it was an incorrect comment made. The other side of the tracks is this. It's called poverty. It's called the ghetto. We're not creating that. Now, what's wrong is that it was created. What's wrong is that the system is this that creates a ghetto of poverty. But to say that it doesn't exist, or we're thinking crazy, or however he had put that at first, no, that's not a delusion. What we're addressing, we are addressing what exists. The other tracks of the other side of the track do exist. The travesty is that it shouldn't exist. But to tell us that they don't exist, well, what is poverty?
Absolutely.
What is ghetto?
Mm-hmm. Good deal, man. In this conversation, man, I'm really loving this conversation. It's a little sticky, but I'm loving it because we're having an opportunity to have the conversation and to have the dialogue. Let me go to Toussaint. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Toussaint. Toussaint, are you there? Okay, we got to come back to Toussaint. Right now, we're gonna go to Leonard. Leonard, talk to me, brother. Oh, I'm sorry, Ray. I'll come to you next, brother.
Hey, I'm just listening because what I don't do is argue mute points. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, the issue, if you got personal problems with certain people, that's a personal issue. I don't care what Charles say. Let Charles say what Charles say so people know who Charles is. And they know what program they need to be against. Because the worst thing in the media today right now is the ignorance of people that support this particular party. It's blatant to where even decent people are looking at it like, I can't believe I'm still with this party. The lies and things, the fact checks or what have you, that's all there. So people know it when they see it. Know the BS when you hear it. Because that's all it is. And don't let it inform your decisions on what's going on in your area and who you need to be supporting. Maxine Waters is a successful politician because those people go and vote for her. That's why she's successful. And other than like a lot of lazy agendas, we should have term limits. Why? Because you won't vote? That's not a good reason to have term limits. Because if you get a good politician, you should be able to continuously vote for that good politician. Y'all arguing about he bringing up somebody whose net worth may be $2 million, maybe at the most, $2 million, but wouldn't look at all of the other multi-millionaires in these parties. You talking about? Matter of fact, let's give her credit. She is the chair, I believe, still of the Ways and Means Committee.
Yes,
the most powerful committee in Congress.
Finance.
Okay, so this woman can defend herself, and her voting record proves that. Because you have to remember, she casts votes at another level. So this is what people and why people support her. Just because you have an area that don't meet your qualifications, don't mean that the politician's doing a bad job.
Wow.
I mean, you have to really peel, like what you like to say about the layers or what have you.
Yes, sir.
Maxine Waters has more respect than the majority of a lot of politicians. And it's because of that seniority that she has that commands that respect. It's hard to get elected that many times. And guess what? Corporations ain't casting votes. People casting votes. One corporation vote don't beat a million constituents votes. So for however she's doing it, she's successful at it. But you know what? Maxine Waters is way out there representing somebody else. What about your own district? What made you focus on her? Could it be rhetoric, talking points, and just an attack on a black woman who has power in the Congress?
Wow. Ray, what's on your heart, brother?
All right, I'm going to peel the Band-Aid off for you old heads. This is it right here. Everybody just why y'all campaigning for people and talking about people when they got money and their works can do that for them? Put all that to the side. If someone's opinion don't align with yours, so what? This distraction is what causes movement to halt. This is what causes movement to cease. If we got a group of black men that got a particular mindset, and then at base form, it furthers. At base form, it furthers and teaches. Then suck the rest of it up and go out and teach. Don't get wrapped up in like I'm beside myself about who. I don't care about who Maxine Waters is. I don't care about who the next politician is, or the next one, or the next one, or the next one, or the next one, or the next one. Because I'm out there for my community. Like y'all, we got it, bro. It's y'all sat there and argued over this woman for at least 10 to 15 minutes, and other politicians, and the Democrats and the Republicans. I don't. For what? For what? And then let's go back into the poverty. Well, I think that was Rico. No one said it doesn't exist. I initiated that conversation. I'm saying that there should not be a line. There should not be another side. Period. And I don't care what anyone got to say. I came from the poverty side and I moved to the other side. Thanks to the people that are in my city, thanks to my mom, my dad, and so on and so forth. But no one's saying we don't acknowledge it. It shouldn't exist. That's the basis of it. But guess what?
Hold on, Ray.
Hold on. Let me finish. I'm done.
Let me say one thing. Let me ask you this question. Are you saying that I want to get some clarity as to what you're saying, not for myself, but for my listeners. Are you saying that poverty should not exist?
No, it shouldn't exist at all.
Okay.
I mean, of course it's going to, because agendas and corruption that gets us there, right? But what I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of it, we can get rid of it. We can handle it. It's definitely handled. What I'm saying, what I want to get back to is the distraction of these conversations. Y'all, Raheem ain't talking about any of this stuff. None of his questions were on the realm of Democrat, Republican, this, that, and the third, whoopity whoop, wop, wop, wop. It was a straightforward question that triggered a mindset and ideology of progress. But y'all got wrapped up in what your own agenda, own idea, your own. Wipe all that out. Come to this unbiased. This is what these conversations are for. An unbiased perspective on something. Okay. It's not left or right. He ain't knocking. He ain't stopping anyone from talking, and he's not stopping you from having your thought process. So don't get, excuse my language, butthurt about someone else's. I don't agree with all y'all. To me, are old and have old thought process. Do I hoop and holler about that? Nope. Exactly. I take the mindset that Leonard has. While I'm worrying about and thinking about other people.
Rico?
I agree. I mean, I've made this comment before in the past, and we've had conversations. Now I ain't gonna place no blame, but me and Raheem have had these conversations, and I think Charles sort of instigated that distraction. And I brought that up before, that this is, okay, man, this is getting us off the topic. So, man, I appreciate what you said, Ray, and then I'm glad you clarified that, because maybe I took what you said wrong the first time, because like I said, I totally agree. Poverty shouldn't exist, but it does, and so we got to, fix the reason why it exists or what contributed to that. Yeah, man, we can't get too distracted. I'm glad you did cut him off, Raheem, because the conversation would have went somewhere totally different. And it's funny that, the topic when we started talking, it wasn't in that direction. But then all of a sudden it got geared with what Leonard said, rhetoric and talking points. They entered, singling out Democrats and Republicans. And I've been the one, I probably wear it out. Birds, feathers of the same bird. Joe Biden is no better. Mitch McConnell is no better. Lindsey Graham is no better. You got devils on both sides. And to be honest with you, we have to find out how to dissect and maneuver our way around that corrupt game that they're playing on both sides of the fence. But when we start going partisan, we start speaking on behalf of certain parties, that to me, that's a total distraction, because the whole political system is corrupt. So I agree with Charles, man. I'm glad Charles went in that direction, because I hate to hear it turn sideways like that. And when it went that way, when he brought up Maxine Waters, I said, oh my God, now we're fixing to target somebody. And I knew then it's fixing to go to Republican and Democrat. And I knew then we wasn't fixing to hear Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell's name. I knew where it was going. I knew that was an agenda. And so, Charles, I commend you on bringing that up, because we get distracted like that as a people. And it's time for us to start finding out how to overlook that, like Leonard did, pay attention to it when it comes, to not let it get to us and he react to it the way that we did. But I want to commend Raheem, too, for cutting that short. Because at first I was like, man, let him go. I was thinking to myself, let him go, let him expose himself, because sooner or later people are going to look at him, and that's what they're going to think of the rest of the show, rest of the week, that mouth. But, it's good that you cut it off, because we need to concentrate on what's going to keep us together instead of keeping us divided, especially when it comes to their political games.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Wow. This is twists and turns and signals and all kind of stuff going on here, man. It's a lot going on. Let me go to Toussaint. You back with us?
Yeah, man. We back on track. Y'all should have started with politics in the first place.
Yes, sir. Hey, we sometimes take them turns,
That's
brother.
why I don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it, politics and religion.
It's
never want to get off track.
Mm-hmm.
Mention it. Because it don't solve the problem that we have in our community.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me. I don't know how to get into this conversation because I don't know where y'all are. But I do know that we got issues in every one of our communities. You stay in Georgia, I stay in Mississippi. I can go home to Louisiana and find the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
And we voted the people that we talk about and complain about and brag on in office. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
All they got to do is have a barbecue. But the thing that we do is we get sidetracked about people and not the problem.
Yeah.
We full of problems.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have no solution. What's the solution to the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, is an individual, person by person, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, I'm just using this for an example because my minute's almost up. I got about 30 seconds. Lenin is not a talker, I don't believe. He go out there and do. I'm just using him for example. I'm not boasting or bragging about anybody. If you want to address the problem, you individually have to face it head on.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it, one person at a time.
Absolutely. That's good. Let me go. I'm gonna change up the topic in just a second or two, but yeah, look at Ray up there. Look at Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh no, I'm waiting on you.
Okay. Let's change.
You
Let's change.
old hands keep getting to me. I'm trying
Uh,
to bring it
uh,
here.
hey. Oh yeah, one more thing
You
before
need
you go.
center yourself. Center.
Before you go, one more thing. Hey, I know, like I said before, I know, and you all speak about left wing, white wing thing, and I understand it, but I understand you all's mindset also. And I don't get confused when you all say, let me expose myself. There's nothing to expose because, like I said yesterday and the day before and the day before that, I'm going to always be me.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I had so and so thousands of people follow me online, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna speak what I speak and how I speak it, and I'm gonna call it out. And just because I said one thing about one thing doesn't mean I discounted about another thing. I was just speaking about that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now because I didn't say what you wanted me to say, made it seem a certain way, but I said what I wanted to say about
Mm-hmm.
it. You understand? And I do know who the majority of people on here are. The majority of people on here lean left. I understand that. It's no problem. I've been around. I'm 53 years old. I've been around most left wing leaning people all my life. I know how to handle you all, just like you think you know how to handle me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's nothing personal about it. I don't take it personally. We can talk crap today and drink iced tea tomorrow if you don't drink beer. You know what I'm saying?
Good deal. And see, my thing is, and my thing is, I'm gonna let, like Ray said, I'm gonna let everybody have their own opinion. I'm not here to get anybody. We got a lot of noise going on in the background. I don't know where it's coming from, but mute your line if that's you. Mute your line for me.
Telling me.
But I don't give anybody their opinion because everybody have their own opinion, and I give them a opportunity to. Where's that noise coming from? Who is that? So, okay, there was Charles.
That can be. Oh,
There you go. Now, look at boy, technology, boy. I tell you, technology is something else.
Y'all
Technology
too
is.
old for
it was
technology.
weird because I was standing still, man. Ray, to my old people talking about technology. Don't get them started with the old people, man.
Good deal. But let
Hey
me.
man, we're gonna have to mute you too with that old stuff, man. You got to use a better term like season.
Yeah.
All right, I start saying season for y'all.
He in his old feelings. He old too.
See, he old too. Good deal. Good. Let me go. I'm gonna change the topic a little bit because this is something that this grown folk conversation right here. We're about to go into some grown folk conversation, and I know that we are certainly seasoned enough to handle this conversation. Sex in a marriage. Sex in a marriage is it enough? Because a lot of people say that they're in marriage, they've been married for a long time. The person can't do this, can't do that, can't do that, don't do this, don't do that, but they put it down in the bedroom. My question is sex in a marriage is that enough to sustain that marriage? Ray, what do you we're gonna go to the young buck first. Ray, what do you
All
say to
right, so scientifically speaking, nah, no, we're not. Men aren't made like that. To be honest with you, that's why you see in a lot of old religions, faiths, and traditions, uh, polygamy. Um, Monogamy isn't as old as people think it is. So, no, scientifically speaking, men aren't made like that. That's why we don't stop reproducing, if that makes sense. So,
that?
faith and religious speaking, monogamy enters in or polygamy enters in, and then ideology of what one should do and how it connects to. I'm a spiritual person, so I believe you should only be having sex with one person, and that should suffice, right?
Mhm.
But you also have the since I'm spiritual, I'm going to talk towards sin and flesh and pleasing flesh because ultimately that's what it turned into, right?
Mhm.
Versus reproducing and then creating more people for the kingdom of God. So you have that other side of it. To me, scientifically, men aren't made that way. Men ultimately, unfortunately, people like to think like there's a big complication behind it. But scientifically speaking, if a woman isn't pleasured as soon or to the degree that she believes should be, she should reevaluate her system because base level, scientifically speaking, uh she should be. Towards men that are
or the amount of time it takes to copulate or mate isn't it's not based off of getting off. That's just a part of our makeup. This is a misconception about sex. So if you say science wise, hey, unfortunately for women, it was it ain't in the cards for you. But faith and religiously speaking, this is a good topic because it's like people confused about it. Yeah, 100% confused about it because pleasure is pleasure, and pleasure can lead to negative and or bad things. Now to say you put it down and you do what you need to do in the bedroom, so on and so forth, that ain't gonna hold nobody. That ain't gonna keep nobody there.
Wow. I'm sitting here looking at the screen, and I would not dare go to Leonard right now. He got this look on his face, bro. I would not dare. No,
Please go to him
Really,
next.
I'm lost.
no.
I'm completely lost.
Oh, I was going to say, please put Leonard on because
I,
I'm ready to start Wednesday.
I was just
Exactly.
listening to Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot the question.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because
actually,
Ray was talking about a lot of stuff.
is sex enough to keep? Is sex enough to sustain a marriage?
No, it's not. Not a marriage. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's enough to sustain booty calls and these other relationships people making up and having.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you whores are whores.
Lord Jesus.
I mean, it's harder now for I think people to control themselves, their flesh more so than anything. I think that's different. But I think when when you open it up to that conversation, are you trying to stick within marriage?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because we need
Because
some parameters on the conversation.
yeah, and we're talking about from because of who we are. We're gonna say marriage. Because I've heard people say, well, they're not good at this and they're not good at that. They're not good at paying the bill. They're not good at providing different things, but they put it down in the bedroom. And they're willing to be with this person strictly for that reason.
Well, that could be that. See, the relationships are different. Different relationships, different people. You may want sex once a month. I may prefer it twice a day. That's marriage, relationship to relationship. My answer not gonna fit your relationship. So it's how often two people want to have it. The problem comes is when you in a marriage and you looking at how much somebody else having it. That's your problem.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
your problem, really. And all these people in their marriage, it's all right if you working on things within your marriage because your bedroom is undefiled. So whatever is needed, you should be providing. Whatever is needed in your
Wow.
relationship, that's where you need to be.
Curtis, what do you say to that, brother? Is sex enough to sustain a marriage? Kurt, you there? See, is Kurt still with us? Let me see here. I think Kurt might have stepped away. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I'm right here, and I was trying to hit the mute button.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not. It's just not. There's so much more to marriage outside of the physical interaction. There's physical interaction in any relationship that does not involve sex. I mean, if you want a successful relationship, if it is, in my opinion, if your relationship is solely centered around sex, what happens when you can't do it anymore? I mean, we don't want to believe that, but what happens when the moment comes that, guess what? You ain't popping no more. Because, I mean, you know what I mean? Scientifically proven, at some point in your life, something could happen that you just can't go. That's male and female. You know what I mean? Like, you got women who, God bless my mama. God bless her soul. Like my mama came down with cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her drive for sex completely depleted. I remember sitting in the house in the living room, and her and my daddy, they were having this conversation. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with a man. You may come down with an illness that, for whatever reason, dilapidates your appetite for sex, or that causes ED. I mean, there's relationships are just built on more than sex, and I think that's where in Baltimore we call them hoppers. Since the young brother like to call us old folks, the hoppers get it twisted because in a lot of cases, and from what I'm seeing, everything is centered around some kind of physical feeling that gives you some form of immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't subscribe to everything about a relationship is centered around sex.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input on this topic that we're talking about right now. Asking, coming to you, Charles. Asking is sex enough to? We're not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend situation. We're talking about a marriage. Is sex enough to sustain a marriage? Charles, talk to me.
I'm agreeing with pretty much everybody else. Even the young head on here. Yeah, it's not enough, man. If that's all you have, then you pretty much don't have anything. Because just like what Kurt was saying, is that what happens when you can't?
Mm-hmm.
Anything. You could be in your 30s and car accident or something, anything. And that person, whomever based it off of just sex, is going somewhere else. And we're talking about just marriage too, because people don't honor marriage the way they used to, like our parents or grandparents did.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you put only sex in there and to sustain it, like you said with the scenario you gave, well, he terrible at everything else, but he put it down, so I'm staying. Or she is terrible with everything else, and she put it down, so I'm staying. But when she stopped being able to put it down, like Hurt was saying, like everybody on here was saying, what's next?
Yeah,
you can't conversate because you had nothing to talk about. You're gonna talk about what? Not having sex? Well, we sure used to have sex real good.
Exactly.
And I ain't gonna even go into what Leonard said about the whoredom of it, but you get what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with everybody on that. It's just not enough to sustain, because you use the word sustain. I mean, it's great to have, but you can't even build a relationship on sex, man. Not a good one to me.
You're sitting there and during the time y'all used to have sex. Only thing that's going on.
Still haven't started your Shopify store?
I'm trying to get this sound effect. Hold on for a second. There we go.
Somebody buying what from Shopify? You buying
from Shopify? Yeah.
What?
Somebody crazy.
Cricket sound.
Yeah.
Ain't got hey, Raheem sitting right next to each other. Ain't got nothing to say.
Ain't got nothing to say. Ain't got at all. That's terrible.
Y'all terrible, man. What is you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't talk about it.
But Leonard, Raheem right about that. You could be sitting right next to the person and got nothing to say because the sex is gone.
Yeah.
Just crickets.
Look there.
That was not a bed squeaking, man. It was crickets, brother. What is wrong with this dude, man?
You know what I tell married couples? Instead of talking about it, be about it.
But look at it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Usually at 11 o'clock at night, we be doing something.
And you know crazy. You said it's 11 o'clock. No, it's not. It's 8:39.
Look at it. But you laying in the bed beside her. It's 11 o'clock. Normally 11 o'clock, but we be doing something. What we gonna do now?
Who doing? Really? That's what you gonna do right here? Really?
I'm just
I'm
saying.
done.
That's what you gonna do,
Here we
right?
go. Here we go. Here we go.
Rico, Rico, talk to me, brother.
What you gonna do on my Tuesday?
Man, that's a good question. Good question you asked, man.
Mhm.
You know, it would really be great if some of these women called in to get their point of view
Mhm. Oh,
Really?
from a woman's perspective.
mhm.
Really? Because
You know, that
immature.
question that you asked, I think that it depends on those two individuals' values,
Mhm.
what they desire the most in each other.
Mhm.
I think there may be a possibility where two people genuinely love each other, and then they find out they both rock each other's world, and they lock in, and they may go on. But see, I think about the fact of some people get left when they can't perform.
Mhm.
You know, they came up with that little blue diamond, that little blue pill for a reason. And those men, they needed to fulfill their wives
Mhm.
or whoever they were going with, or whoever they were having relations with. So I think it gets to a point where sex may be able to sustain a relationship, because the minute one person can't have it anymore, they may get left
Mhm.
for that reason. They may get cheated on. So I think it depends on why these people got together, because that man and that woman may be a nympho.
Mhm.
You got two nymphos might get together, and then they have a connection beyond sex, but at the same time, that temporary pleasure that they have with each other is still one of the things that brought them together.
Mhm.
Now they might be able to go beyond the fact that, okay, one of them had an accident, they can't perform anymore. They love each other so much that they find another way to make sure they can still please each other. That's possible. But I think if you get together for the wrong reasons, or you get together based off the fact that you both rock each other's world, y'all both nymphos, the hypersex, and now all of a sudden you're getting married, it might not sustain the minute one of them has erectile dysfunction.
Mhm.
It might not sustain the minute one of them has a situation that goes on where they can't perform anymore. They may end up losing that marriage. They may not be able to get along anymore because they're frustrated.
Mhm.
Just a lot of people have a high sex drive and they maintain that sex drive for a long time. Everybody isn't built the same.
Yeah.
So, I think really and truly it just depends on the people that's involved and what they desire from each other, or what they desire most of each other.
Mhm. Mhm. That's good. That's good. Tucson, what do you say to this? And we got another caller. Gonna go to the caller in just 1 second. But Tucson, what do you say to this, brother? Is sex enough? Is sex enough to sustain not a boyfriend girlfriend situation, but a marriage? They're not good at this. They're not good at that. But they put it down in their bedroom. Is that enough to hold that woman there? Is that enough to keep him or her?
Boy, you gonna have me saying something I ain't got no business.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on saying good morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now it don't have to be.
He said, "Keep on saying good morning."
I got an attitude. I'm gonna have to let you know I got attitude. I had to really. I told you, and I'm saying it publicly. I got attitude.
Why you got attitude,
So
Tucson?
I'm gonna try to.
Why you got
I try
attitude?
to maintain my composure.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got nothing to do with your show. I'm not gonna interfere with your show.
Okay.
But just keep saying good morning. Okay.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good
You
morning.
Good morning.
Whatever you want to base it on, you can base it on whatever you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. What my dad is saying. You watching that girl, watch her mama. Because that's what you're going to be looking at.
Wow. 10, 12 years, 20 years,
you're
going to be seeing the mama.
You see them, yeah. You'll see that big chest sticking up there. She's going to be stepping on it.
Lord, Tucson, did you just say that, brother?
Yes, that would be Tucson.
Keep saying good morning.
Lord.
Keep saying good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Right. Gravity is a terrible.
Did you just say that, man? She's gonna be stepping on the man. She's gonna be stepping on him.
Oh my goodness.
Lord. Well, y'all, man, look here. Hey, Rico, that's your brother. I'm gonna go to the phone line. Rico, that's your brother, man. Get him. Get your brother, man.
Man, he said stepping on them bad boys, man. I just died laughing.
He said, "Look, man, you listen to Tucson. Tucson, he throw it out there now. You gotta listen to him, but he gonna put it out there." We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Willa.
Hey, Raheem. Good morning.
Good morning, Willa. Willa, this now I gotta say to you, Willa, I know who you are. You my sister, love you dearly. But this is a grown folk conversation we're having right now. Now you sure you wanna be in this one? This is a grown folk conversation now. I'm just asking the question.
Raheem, I think I knew that when I called in.
Okay. I just we're asking a question, and we're talking about a marriage. We're talking about a marriage, husband and wife. Say he's not good at this, he's not good at that, not a provider, and all these different things. He's not good at all these different things, but he put it down he put it down in the bedroom. He puts it down in the bedroom. Should that be enough to sustain a marriage?
No, Raheem, it's not enough, but I tell you what, it does play a big part in the marriage. I just got to be honest because, when it comes to sex, that sex is feeding the flesh, and we're a bunch of people that are living in the flesh as well as the spirit. So that's exactly what we do. My husband and I don't know, I shared with you a while back. We haven't did it in a while because he has been, I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking about the marriage counseling. We both do that. And the most important thing we tell them is that we have to learn to love unconditional. Because when there are conditions, then and the conditions are not met, then you have chaos in your marriage. It can't be sex. Because you look at, as we get older, some people get it more, some people get it less. You have to prepare yourself for that when you get older. That blue pill, it only lasts for a while because there are certain side effects that would cause certain things to happen to men when they take them. Even young people are taking them now. But yeah, sex cannot sustain a marriage.
Yeah.
It can keep you happy, but it cannot sustain a marriage.
You scared me there for a second. Well, I got to be honest with you. You scared me when you say me and my husband, we don't do it, and I was like, you cleared up and you said counselor. I said, man, I'm gonna step in. I gotta stop with you. Put too much information out there now. Hold on now. But you scared me for a second, sister. You had me a little shaking. I was shook. I ain't shook that often, but I was shook.
Ryan, I want to ask a question because everybody could probably answer this. It is about the way we're looking at it.
Yes.
When we say that it can't sustain a marriage, now if somebody gets a divorce because the sex wasn't good, or a woman leaves a man because she wasn't being pleasured enough, wouldn't that be like saying where if the sex was good, the marriage would have still been together?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the desires of that person of whether or not it can sustain it or not.
Right. So, but when you say something sustaining something, that means to keep it. So if you're doing it on a condition, we shouldn't marry each other on a condition. We should marry each other with that unconditional love. Once we understand that, that's why we now have counseling. Like someone said, like the people, like our grandparents, how they stayed together for so long. And then you can look at their marriages. Were they happy in their marriage? Why did they stay? It depends on the individual. It depends on you. Do you want to live forever being happy or not happy, having sex or not having sex? We got our boundaries in marriage, but that's not going to sustain it, Rico. For real. I'm just telling you. It's not.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Rosalind.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning? Rosalind, you sure now? You walked into a conversation. You sure you want to be in this conversation right here?
I'm a big girl now.
Okay.
I'm a big girl. I'm quiet, but I'm very open-minded.
Okay. All right. Well, we talk. Now the guy, he's not real good at taking care of bills and doing a lot of different things. You send him to the store, you got to give him a list, because he ain't too sharp and all that stuff like that. You have to take a picture, send him a picture, and make sure you get this, make sure you get that. He ain't too good at that kind of stuff. But he put it down in the bedroom. Look at Charles. Charles, you something else, brother. He put it down in the bedroom. Is sex enough? Now we're not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend courting. We're talking about a marriage. Is sex enough to sustain a marriage? What do you say?
No. I'm divorced. I got married when I was I'm 39 now, so I got married when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I didn't understand. I was young, so I didn't understand. The only thing I wanted to do was get married,
mm-hmm.
Get this house and live the life of whatever. But I didn't understand the aspect of sex. I feel like I was just having it just because I was married. But now that I've grown up, I realize that sex is not everything. Like me, I'm a sapiosexual. Like men that's intelligent, that that can think, that's like-minded like I am, that's what like really just gets my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I was 19, I would get excited when a guy would send me a picture of their private area. But now that doesn't excite me anymore, right? Because I didn't know any better. So no, sex, no. You have to have more than sex, like for me, but everybody is different. Because a lot of my friends, ladies, they're into that. I'm not. So I guess it's like who you're with. You have to know your partner, your spouse. You have to know them. Now, my ex-husband, he thought sex would solve everything. Like he was narcissistic, so he thought sex would solve. We would get into an argument. He thought sex would be the number one thing that would bring us back together, but it didn't. We would have sex, but it didn't solve the fact that we just got finished arguing over a simple matter, right? So yeah, you have to just know your partner, your spouse, or whatever. That goes along with getting to know people, I guess, before you marry them. Like Miss Willa just said, it's not about that. You have to have more things going on besides in the bedroom. We could go in the bedroom and do what we got to do, but after the fact, I need to know if I can send you down to the bank and cash a check or handle business or, do the important things. You see what I'm saying? So no,
exactly.
It's got to be more than sex.
Absolutely.
It's got to be.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ray.
So yeah, I'm along the lines of Rico. I think it's what you value in a relationship, but I see it separating through like generations. Like my generation, sex definitely suffice to keep a marriage. Point blank period. I know too many dudes that can't get rights. Literally can't do nothing right. But the chick is just like, I'm still with him because they get it sex. I'm like, all right, man. I guess that's healthy.
Hold on, Ray. We can't just give us that sound effect again, brother. How she say that?
I'm still with him because they get it sex. He's so great. They stick through it. But then it's just like, and then I guess we didn't talk about the degree at which one puts it down. I think also matters, because if you're like down here and you're not like washing clothes, that'll be it ain't gonna fix washing the clothes. But like not doing the taxes, you got to be able to put it down to this degree to distract them. And unfortunately that's a mindset that men think is healthy and uses. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've used it a plethora of times. I'm like, you know what? I didn't do X, Y, and Z. I got to go do this. Like this equates to that. Just like the young lady just said. She said her husband thought that sex would fix everything. That's a mindset that simple men use. They're like, all right, I get away with this. But on the flip side, in today's generation, you see that. Like, for instance, the more successful, like the generation of women that I came up with, the more successful they are, they don't need a man for anything other than sex.
Wow.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
She don't need them. I've ran into chicks 25, 26, making six figures, approach me and like, hey, I don't need you anything but sex. That's all you need to do. I'm like, oh wow, I'm not a piece of meat. I have feelings. Like, I need to be taken care of.
What is wrong, man?
That's why I love independence. I love women's independence.
But that's the mentality, the mindset and the mentality now is kind of along with what Rico was saying. If that's all they look for. So today, yeah, sex can hold a marriage for especially younger couples going into it. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that's gonna, stand the test of time. I'm a spiritual and faithful person, so I assess that it will not.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I know friends that are married since 1920. They're still married now, and they're just like, it's great. And the dude literally can't even breathe correctly. Sometimes I look at him and he just can't even breathe right. That's how bad he is at everything.
Wow.
The chick be like, well, you know what he do right? I'm like, I mean, I can't say nothing until it fails, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That remind me of this TikTok video, and y'all probably saw it, man. Guy was going through the drive-through, and he get to the drive-through window, and if may I take your order? He said, man, listen, I want to let y'all know that there's a woman out here soliciting sex for a Big Mac, large order fries, and a medium Coke. He said, what? Yeah, she's soliciting for a Big Mac, large order fries, and a medium Coke. She's asking for sex for that. I just want to let y'all know. She said, okay, I'll tell the manager, blah, blah, blah. What you want? He said, a Big Mac, large order fries, and a medium Coke.
That's a lame joke. That's why I don't tell clean jokes right there, right?
There you go. Leonard, go ahead, brother. What's on your heart?
Nothing at all. Not when it comes, a lot of people make up, excuses or what have you. But like I said, within a marriage, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a commitment. Now, if you leave your marriage because of that, you're probably not going to be the best mate for the next person.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because one, you can't keep that oath.
Mm-hmm.
So how likely are you to keep the next one?
Hold on. You said you can't keep what now?
That oath. Because when you get married, you take an oath.
I thought you said something else. I was like, "Ooh, Lord."
What you thought I said, right?
I thought you said you can't keep that H word.
That's what it sounds like. That's what.
No.
I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, brother." Wait a minute, brother. When did we take that turn? Wait a minute.
But he don't say that. He says whore.
Okay. Oh yeah. He speaks proper.
Yeah.
He speaks that proper English. I thought he said
biblical. That's biblical.
There you go. Yeah. Somewhere in there says that. He said. I thought he said you can't keep that. Go ahead, Charles.
But when people are in a relationship, I think it's definitely different. Other people have different sex drives, but you and your partner should be working on that together and communicating about that, especially before if it gets you have any problem.
Yeah.
You should express how you feel about it, this, that, and the other, because even the Bible permits abstinence within marriage if agreed upon.
Wow.
For a certain amount of time. So, different people, different strokes for different folks. But now I think you need to address really the elephant in the room is why people leaving their marriages because of sex.
Was that a pun? Different stroke for different folks? Oh,
yeah. That was funny. But one, we have to understand that there's a bigger issue with people leaving marriages because of sex, and you got people losing everything they have because of it, especially men.
Yeah,
especially old men.
I was just going to say that
50, 60 years old and your baby 2. You got a 2-year-old.
Something ain't right.
Hey, man, listen.
I'm just saying. So where a lot of people see that as becoming more normative, I know a lot of people struggling with that issue because here you had a good wife, but now you in them streets, and them streets ain't providing you no comfort at all. At all. Now you got more diseases, everything. So
is that the sex not sustaining the marriage?
Exactly, not sustaining the marriage. And this is what you go to because people who had these problems could be having them for different reasons. If you're still in love with somebody, you're not going to leave them because of sex.
Wow.
You're not going to leave them because of sex. Not if you really love them, you're not. So if a person gonna leave you because of sex, they didn't really love you in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
They really did not.
Like I think somebody said because that's competition.
Hold on, y'all. Let me say a little. You're listening to DK Media Group and Associates. This is the Morning Glow. We're having a conversation this morning that you can certainly be a part of. All you have to do is give us a call at 508-924-3521. We're asking right now, is sex enough to sustain a marriage? Not a boyfriend or girlfriend situation, but a marriage. Is sex enough to sustain a marriage? Go ahead, Charles.
I'm agreeing with Leonard also on this, man. It's not enough to using the word sustain. I mean, when you're looking at the things that, like Ray said, you think about people when you say sustaining a marriage, 20 years plus, 30 years plus, and you don't know what you could be going through in that time. And after that, I don't think sex becomes the thing that sustains it. You know, like after 20 years, I don't think, like, let's say, for instance, you get married at 19 and then 29, 39. But see, 39, you're still at, you know, a sexual peak. Some people are. So it wasn't, and I doubt if it was the sex all that time. Nobody can't mess up 20 years and just be like you said, had to get a picture to go get, had to get a picture to go get the groceries for 20 years, and it's just gonna be okay with either party, because somebody's going. That's just not. That's highly unlikely to me that can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen.
Exactly.
Not saying it can't. I'm just saying highly unlikely.
Exactly. Willa, what's on your heart? Talk to me. Is sex enough to sustain a marriage? Now we're talking marriage. Willa, are you there? I think we just lost Willa. Let's go to Rosalind. Rosalind, what's on your heart?
I'm just listening. Now, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of friends that's married, and I kind of feel like an outcast if I'm not. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But you know, a lot of times, because I don't know why they always come to me for advice, but they do. I mean, the sex is awesome, but it's something missing. So, I mean, it's got to be more than sex. It just has to be. If not, I think it's gonna be some problems down the road. Like that's basically what I ran into. But it has to be more than sex. Like I despise when women say, "I don't need a man." Yes, you do, because I need a man. I don't like women, so I need a man. So you're gonna have to take that out of your vocabulary. I mean, I have to tell women, they'll be like, "I don't need a man. I don't need a man." Yes, you do. Yeah, you do need a man. I mean, it's not saying that you need him for sex. You need him for more than that, but you do need a man. I mean, that's what I mean. God, man and woman, like you do need a man. So get that out of your vocabulary and get that out of your thoughts, because you do need a man more than sex. It evolves around more than that. You know, I mean, sexual sex is an attraction. So I mean, it's your partner. You have to know your partner. You have to know your spouse. Like, I mean, if they walk in a room, you know, you want, hey, how you doing, and stuff like that. Get to know, you know. Then it goes into, it's like an attraction. It should be more than just sex. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
Exactly. That's good. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Now, I agree with what everybody's saying. It should be more than about sex. And 9 times out of 10, if two people got together based on sex, period, and they just kept dealing with each other based off that and got into a relationship or a marriage, 9 times out of 10, they started bonding on other levels. But when I say that it's still based on the individual, it's because I know of people that did leave because of the sex, and everything else was great. Everything was great, but these women could not tolerate another year of not having an orgasm.
Wow.
They could not tolerate another 10 years of certain areas of their body not even being touched because he ain't got enough. I mean, you get what I'm saying? So there are situations where, you know, women just couldn't take, you know, and more women than men. that just said that, you know what, I can't do it no more. I had to go. I love them to death, but that bedroom was terrible. So that's sad that it happens that way. But you know what? We are human beings, and we like pleasure. You know, that's one of the biggest senses that we have, is the sense of pleasure. You know, I mean, nothing is better. So I think it has a huge influence, especially on today's generation, this younger generation. I believe the question more or less should be, a marriage sustained on sex, can it be healthy? You know, because I mean, I do believe that there are people that really only get with others because they can be pleased sexually. Like Ray said earlier, I know plenty of women that's looking for kept men. They looking for young men to just do their job and go on about their business. Just please me and go on about the business. I ain't gonna even say please me. We might get together. We might get married. You might work at a car wash. Go ahead and make that little car wash money. Just come home and take care of business. But you know what I'm saying? Please me when I need to be pleased. So, you know, I think it's really all based on the individual. I think I heard Rosalind say that she had friends that felt the same way about sex.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really don't know if it's just today's generation, but I think a healthy marriage can't be sustained on sex, but those marriages that ended because of sex, they needed to be sustained by sex. So it all depends on the individual.
There's a lot tied into this particular question right here. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Curtis, you there?
I think you kind of already know what I'm going to say. If I can't build with you, I can't shut no still with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The time gonna come where either you gonna go too quick or I'm gonna go too quick. Now we just laying there looking at each other dumbfounded. We can't have conscious dialogue. But I'm with Reek. I mean, you know, I've literally seen it. I've been in sessions where, you know, the couple's biggest problem is their interaction, their adult interaction. When they are asleep. You know, and it can definitely cause a problem. It has caused a problem. And some people will leave and some people will choose to stay.
Okay.
It's not common. You know what I mean? Some people just need that. You know, Rosalind kind of said something that Rosalind, I think it was Rob, that said something about, you know, people saying that they need, you know, what always get me with that is, yeah, you don't eat until the option presented that you don't have.
Yeah. Wow.
But I don't have to say to that. I'm just a squirrel and trying to. I don't have to.
Got you. Cassandra, good.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Raheem, can I ask you about a question first?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna throw a scenario out there. Two people get together, man and woman, they married, and they both have high sex drive. They are each other's match. They might go 2 or 3 times a day or once a day. And something happens to the man, but he knows he has a nympho. And he got the key to her, but that key don't work no more. He paralyzed from the neck down. And I asked this question because I've seen it. And after being paralyzed from the neck down for over 10, 15, 20 years, you know this woman got an urge. You know this woman got a drive. And you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. You know it's torture. You know it's torture because you know how y'all used to act. It's killing your mind, even though you can't feel it down below. But in your mind, it's tearing you up on the inside, reminiscing about how y'all got it like rabbits. Is it fair for that man to expect that woman to stay, knowing that she had a drive like that?
See, that is a heck of a question, brother. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to an expert on this. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Now, how I get an expert on sex something? I ain't had sex in 22 years. 22 years. I am not an expert. I'm serious. I am serious. How I get to know? Oh, but no, really. This is interesting because I've worked with a lot of people with all kinds of stuff going on, and a woman and man that want to be together, there are things that they can do that he can still do that can still keep her where she needs to be. I ain't gonna go into it because I'm trying to be a lady, and but I know of a person that's married to a quadriplegic, and believe me, it's real high. I mean, they she ain't got no complaints. But it's according to that woman's commitment. Everybody isn't going to be committed enough. If you love a person, you said for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. So then, if you that type of woman, I don't hold much anything in you because you're selfish. You're not thinking about your mate.
Wow. Tucson.
That's my no input talking point.
and y'all see how I went to the expert. I went to the expert that time.
Right. Yeah.
Tucson, you got something on your heart, brother?
No, I'm just trying to figure out if you ain't married or you intend to get married, how'd you figure out where the sex drive is before marriage? Let me tell you why I said that. And y'all may tell me if I'm right or wrong. I don't have to be right or wrong. I don't try to be. But why you don't get the instructions for marriage, where it all come from? If this is just me, I don't have to be right. But anything that you do out of order, you're gonna have problems.
Yes, sir.
Anything. Whatever you do, if you go about it the wrong way, you're gonna have problems.
Wow.
Now let me tell you something. What I caught what Rosin said, and I want to go back to that. I would not, at this point in my life, I would not embarrass. No, I can't think myself. Oh, let me say me. I can't say me. Let me just say. Just keep saying good morning. I'm saying it again. What sense?
You know what? Too sad.
Does it make for a person my age to embarrass himself by sending some photos to anybody?
Bro, we don't know how old you are, Donald. No, we don't know how old you are. What?
Raheem,
hey,
can y'all please let me say something because I'm gonna have to go in a minute.
Hey, Miss
courtroom. Listen, can I just say something really quick?
Absolutely.
I don't know whether y'all remember. It was maybe a couple of years ago, Raheem. I told you that I had been on a dating site, right? I wanted to start dating, and I was on there for maybe a week and a half, and I'd chosen 3 guys that I said, okay, they seem decent, and the guy was 60. I think he was 64, and sent me a picture of his wing. I didn't even recognize it. What the heck? So yeah, man, do that.
Cassandra, did you say you didn't even recognize it?
I'm turning the picture sideways, trying to figure out what the heck it is. I'm like, what?
Stop it. Stop it.
No, for real, y'all. God is my witness.
Wow.
When I looked I did not recognize it. And I was like, wait a minute. And I turned it sideways, and I was like, oh my God, this man sent me a picture of his wiggle woggle.
Hey, when he took the picture, he didn't have his reading glasses on.
But a lot of these issues, I like what Donald said, Raheem, and like we started talking about it within marriage. But you know, that's what those people are about. So understand that's what they're about.
Yes.
There's no reason why you should have a misconception of what these type of people are about that do those types of things. So don't mislead yourself.
Wow, that's good.
You know, don't think you're. Most people out here just shopping for. I can tell you where I think my age plays a role in this situation. Is that people actually subscribe to websites that you can just look on there, and if someone wants to have sex within 5 miles, y'all get together and screw. No questions asked.
Good Lord.
Just you hot as hell, that hot. That somebody can just, your name is out there like that. Hey, I'm 10 minutes away. Let's have sex. There's something gross about that to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As nasty as I could be. That to me is kind of gross. You know, I never thought it would get like that, but it should. And you know, when we talk about sex within marriage, the reason why a lot of these marriages fail because of sex is because the lives that people have lived before they got married.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're gonna have a hard time with people that have been very promiscuous. And that's just what it is.
That's true.
You got some women who I'm trying not to use.
Come on.
You don't hoard all your life. But not a man to take care of you, you're stingy.
Wow.
Okay. I don't care. Sex is such a thing that if you have not had sex before you got married, you're not gonna miss nothing. Because you can't miss what you ain't never had.
Absolutely.
So the reason why people are having these problems is because they have been so promiscuous.
What about the Mr. Furleys of the world?
What is that? What is that?
Three's Company.
What about him? I don't.
His wife be ready every time the wind blows. She ready. He looking at TV, reading a book and all kind of stuff in the bedroom. And then when she come in the bedroom, he act like he sleep.
Yeah, she just have a higher sex drive than him. But people, if you're gonna be married, you have to learn how to mitigate that. And like Miss Willa was saying, with counseling and things like that, you know. But I get I'm this way. If you got that much desire and you want to be somewhere else, go and be there.
Wow.
Let me be. Go and be there. I don't think you should be sitting there, because a lot of people use this excuse for lots of different things. And that's why men and women both need to be very careful about all these relationships, all these ways y'all trying to put together, calling it a relationship, all this playing house, all this kind of crap. That's what's causing your issue. Now, like I said before, if somebody leave you because of sex and y'all married, you didn't have nothing in the first place.
Rosalind, talk to me, sis.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Raheem?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you remember when I told you got the counseling?
Yes.
And we counsel people from all ages, young all the way to old people. And when I say old, I'm gonna say in their 60s and stuff like that. And sex is part of our counseling. And we have talked about if somebody became a paralytic or somebody had got handicapped. But what we try to teach is the creativity, because everybody on this line has sex, and we know the objective. It's different ways to get to the objective. Can I put that out there?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it becomes sacrificial. If you want to stay in that for the marriage, you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to be nice about it without being vulgar.
A good word is rendering due benevolence.
Because everybody on this line has had it and know the objective.
Yeah.
You know the foreplay, whether you want it long, whether you like it short. So you do whatever's necessary to keep your marriage going within the 2. I'm not talking about 3. I'm talking about 2.
Exactly.
And that's my
Exactly.
comment.
Good deal. Rosalind, what's on your heart, sis?
I have to agree with Miss Willa. Like I know how I like to be. I'm trying to keep it clean. I know my body, right? I know how I like to be pleased or whatever. So I feel like if you're in a marriage and you're having problems, you should have a spouse that you can sit down like, look, you're not doing this right. We can work on this, together. Like I'm gonna teach you or show you, what I like or how I like. Because a lot of men, they're not being taught or not being taught, but they're fatherless, so they're kind of lost, right? So sometimes you're gonna have to steer them in the right direction, right? But just speaking on, I think somebody was saying something about, I think it was Rico. But then when I was working at the prison, right, I had a lot of guys that were married, and they came, and they would always come to me. I guess because trying to get a woman perspective or get a women advice, and I had one guy. This was the guy that the lady had a wreck on the side of the road. He administered CPR, and they charged him. Well, they snatched him, away from his family. He was married, and he came in my office crying. I hate to see a man cry, but he was crying. He was like, Miss she's gonna leave me. She's gonna leave me. I was like, what? She's gonna leave you? He's like, my wife. I know she's gonna leave me. I'm getting the feeling. I'm getting these conversations. We talking on the phone. She's getting frustrated. I said, listen, you have to talk to her and whatever it took for you to get her. And not saying it was, we just jumped into the conversation. He was like, no, the sex is not a problem. It's just like, I'm not there. And I know if I'm not there, and her being a woman, she's going to go out and cheat. I was like, no, if she really loves you, you have to keep it open. You have to keep her mind focused on you. Have the conversations, talk about it. Don't neglect the conversation. Don't neglect the fact that you're not there. You can't please her sexually. Talk about it. Don't ignore it. So he ended up leaving, and before he left, we talked. He said, it worked. It worked because my wife loved me, but I wasn't there to please her. But I know in my heart she didn't cheat on me. I know that for a fact. So you have to look at the fact you have guys that snatched away from their family that's incarcerated. They have to deal with that also, but they have to know their spouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the way I look. I mean, you have to know your spouse. That's all I know. That's the only thing I could put into play. Because like I said, when I was married at 19, my husband, ex-husband, excellent bed. We didn't have a problem with the sex. He was just crazy, and the crazy turned me all the way down. Like I wasn't aroused by it. Right? I mean, his mind was messed up.
Wow.
So. Wow. I couldn't get with that. He was crazy. The sex was fine, it was perfect, everything. But his mind, it was gone. And by his mind being gone, it turned me completely off, and the marriage ended. Ended 12 years now. 12 years. It ended.
Wow. You stayed in there for a minute though. You stayed in there for a minute.
I did. I did everything I could to make it work, and I couldn't do it no more.
Wow. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I was just wondering. So communication is a sustainer. Because if you, I'm trying to be clean about it, because I'll say some stuff, y'all.
Yes, Lord.
Give us a little way.
I can't pronounce whore. You can't wait. So you can't treat your wife or even your husband. You can't have a whorish relationship in a marriage. You don't communicate. You just be getting it. And you mean to tell me you ain't gonna talk to me?
What was he doing in Tucson? What was they doing in Tucson?
Don't that sound dirty? Don't that sound like it ain't in order? Just okay, I'm gonna say it again. Just getting it.
Yep.
And you ain't said a word. You know, No good morning, no good night, no nothing. First thing you know, matter of fact, they sleep, and there you go. But if you communicate, I think that you can solve a lot of problems to keep a marriage going. If you don't talk to each other, I mean, what you call them African see, anyway, I can't say anymore.
What was you trying to say, dude? African
I don't
what?
know, man. I'm trying not to say. Because you see, I'm gonna say it again. You gonna poor thing. I know she was that big, strong, healthy fella, and she was boy thick as all get out. But sooner or later, that somebody gonna be singing, "This is your granddaddy."
Hey, look at hey, Leonard. Toussaint trying so hard not to say something. He ain't saying nothing.
Not a word. I ain't saying nothing at all.
Oh my goodness! I don't know what Toussaint talking about, man.
Help your brother out, Rico. Help him out.
Yeah, he got me over there cracking up, man. But I like what he said. You know, the first time before Cassandra came in, man. You know, it really boils down to people getting together and they're doing it out of order. You know, he said that about that communication, and that's true. That would sustain it. And that communication is something that's supposed to be had before you even lay down and have sex. I like what Leonard was saying too, you know, on that end. I think if you wait till you get married, you don't know what you're missing. But at the same time, if you took the time to get to know this person, you might not wait till you get married, but you still might wait until you've been into the relationship a good while to get to know this person and see if y'all, you know, what type of connection y'all have, if y'all have the same goals, if you want to have the same accomplishments. So when you build that bond, that's the difference in building a bond. You know, it's beyond talking love language, but you're building that bond with each other to see if you can actually deal with each other on a just regular friend level. If you can have a relationship with this person, period, platonically, then you have the sex. You know, you won't really have that problem because sex isn't the issue. But see, some people have ulterior motives. Some people do let sex influence them. Money might influence somebody. They have that ulterior motive. And the money that this person has, or the fame or popularity that this person has, oh, I just love and adore this person. But then all of a sudden you get with this person, you find out they like to play between their feet and pick their nose and not wash their hands. You find out they nasty, they filthy. You getting turned off by this person. You find out about the real them. But see, you didn't take the time to get to know the real them. You just fell in love or got attracted to the person that they appeared to be. You had an ulterior motive. So I think though when you get into a relationship for a genuine reason, then that sex thing won't be a problem. But yeah, I believe that if you get into a relationship and sex was the one that initiated the attraction, then the sex might end up being a huge part of that relationship staying together.
That's good. That's good. Bishop, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, brothers. That's not the best. How's everyone?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Bishop, we're having a conversation this morning and asking the question. Now, we're talking about a marriage. We're talking about marriage. I know you've been listening this morning. We're talking about marriage. And we're asking the question, he's not good at this. He's not good at that. He, not good provider, whatever. But he's good or she's real good in the bedroom. Is that enough to sustain? Is that enough to sustain a marriage?
My opinion, it is not. The bed is only, I would say, 2% of any relationship. 98% consists of everything, around it. Being able to offer emotional support, financial support, being strength through in so many different areas. Sex is so overrated in anything, whether it be, in the marriage, single, sex is overrated. And it's so crazy, the conversation I was having with my buddy yesterday about, these 5 minutes in this bed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If a woman ain't got her before he get here, she just out of luck. He rolls over and grabs a cigarette and light his cigarette and looking at TV now. And that's it. So then where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Good question then.
Yep.
You know what? The darn crickets. Boy, that's funny.
Boy, you
asked a question, man. I'm trying to answer your question.
Hey, better you don't tell them the truth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's just it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't know who. I just tell you the truth. I can talk. Man, when I was young, boy, I was a rat. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a sloth. I'm like,
look, okay, TMI. Okay. hey, that's the good Bishop Leonard. What you gonna do with him? What are you gonna do with him? That's the good Bishop
Gregory. Yeah.
Huh?
I didn't get no crickets in, did
I? Hold on. I'm slipping on my job. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Leonard.
But we have to be conscious of the relationships. You know what's going on. I see a lot of people married, and then they all of a sudden they ain't married no more. And you know why they separated. They couldn't get along. However, what a lot of people fail to understand is, if you just all you doing is that, and I don't have nothing against people that live this way. It's just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
If a person is preoccupied with it, they're not going to be the best husband or wife.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one good sign of it. And, you know, one thing I like about Steve Harvey, when he came out and a lot of people didn't like him, why he telling them this? And he ain't got no, whatever. He don't have the knowledge. Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, he does. Everybody pretty much does that's been in relationships and things of that nature. You know what work and what don't work. You know where you wasn't working in the relationship, and that's why the relationship failed.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue needs to be addressed if your marriage is on the verge of failing because of that. Just because of that, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because anytime this person threatens you or what have you, or anything of that nature, that's not going to be a good thing for you.
Now watch this. I'm going to get ready for our Way Out Wednesday, because I'm gonna do a segue right now. I'm gonna do a segue that y'all ain't ready for. Y'all, you ready, Leonard? You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Now we're talking about, our topic right now is sex. We're talking about sex, and is sex enough to sustain a marriage? We're gonna segue into our topic. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. Now, Rico, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
You are what you eat, and I intentionally on the poster I'll put chitlins on there. Now I don't eat chitlins. Never like chitlins, but are we what we eat? Are we subjected to? Go ahead.
Man, you probably should have let somebody else lead into this, because of what we just finished talking about. Man, you talking about eating. You know, I'm like, man, are you trying to be funny or something? So,
because I mean, the joke wasn't funny.
I'm like, man, I think you trying to be slick. Come to me. I said, oh, here you come. Let me see if I can arrange this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I say we are what we eat. You know, if you eat healthy, you are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat unhealthy, 9 out of 10, it's going to react and respond. The consequences that your body is going to be unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I can't even really expand on that too much more. You know, greasy foods, cholesterol, sugar, you know what I'm saying, glucose, all those things matter. You know, water is so important. You know, we know the difference between healthy foods and unhealthy foods. We know the difference between cravings, you know, those pleasure foods like ice cream and stuff, pizza, things that we love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are unhealthy. But if we continue to indulge in them, or overindulge in them, 9 out of 10, we're going to be unhealthy too. So yeah, we are what we eat.
Good deal. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? You are what you eat. Now, we want to be healthy. Everybody want to be fit. Everybody want to have that 6-pack and all that stuff. But we don't eat along those lines. So you are what you eat. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you should really eat for a purpose. Food is my weak point, but you know, I have a different diet with a lot of things. I don't eat swine, you know, anyway. But and I don't even eat beef or chicken.
Yeah, I'm with you with the swine and the beef, but I do eat some chicken now. I eat some chicken.
So you know, I'm trying to do better, trying to eat better, of course, you know, because that is where sickness and stuff comes from when you fail to get the proper nutrition. So I'm definitely working on my diet and what I eat as well. But you know, you can. I think I heard a preacher say, "We digging graves with forks and spoons."
Wow.
And that's really a serious issue. And this thing that it's okay to be obese and all these other, it's not okay. Because a lot of us are dying because of that.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be cognizant. And also what parents need to do is, if you may not have done the best, at least feed your children better. At least feed your children better.
Yeah.
But see, what is common now is now you got 10, 11, 12-year-old children darn near big as their parents. Because you just letting them eat everything, lay up, do nothing, no activity. Then you're going to be sitting there wondering why they can't breathe.
Yeah.
And things of that nature. That is not cool.
No.
To where a lot of these kids can't even be involved in sports and things like that because of their health, or they have no desire to do certain things. Do you know, if you don't remember, the school feeding program created by the Black Panthers was solely based on this notion that, one, how can you perform if you haven't been getting good nutrition? So they started this program to feed children, to make sure that they had food in there, so when they did go to school and things like that, they could perform and they wouldn't be hungry.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, we can change it. You know, people change suddenly, but we can change little bits at a time. Some people need to change faster than others. But I think we definitely need to be more cognizant of nutrition, more so than anything, especially if you have children.
Absolutely. Curtis, talk to me. You are what you eat. Do you buy into that concept?
To a degree.
To
a degree. I mean, man, at the end of the day, anything you eat too much of, anything you do too much of, period, can become a bad thing. So, you know, you got some people who run around, they talk about the fact that they don't eat meat, you know, but then, I mean, you be the same people that in some cases you'll find have certain protein deficiencies. So I mean, I don't choose one way or the other, man. I try and eat right as best I can, and I don't know, man. I really don't even have an answer to that question, to be honest with you.
Good deal. That's fine. Rosalind, what do you say to that? You are what you eat.
Oh, so 3 years ago, I was overweight per se, unhealthy. I was suffering from obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, I had it. So I underwent a surgery called a gastric sleeve, and it basically, they take out a portion of your stomach or whatever. And after the fact, you can only eat so much or eat a certain amount. So I ended up losing like 150 plus pounds. Now I did it. Why did I do it? Because I have a 7-year-old, and I was literally dying because I had so many health issues, and I thought about my daughter. I'm glad I did it, because it actually gave me life. Right before, I couldn't get out and play with her. I couldn't run around with her. I couldn't do the activity that she wanted to have. So now I do try to eat healthy. I love chicken. I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. I don't eat red meat. I try to eat healthy because I don't want to get back to that stage. I try to stick with vegetables and fruit and fish, basically. And I'm not doing it for nobody else. I'm doing it for myself
Yeah,
because I have to
yeah.
keep myself healthy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now if I try to eat beef or chicken or whatever, I get sick. I get sick on the stomach because I haven't ate it in so long. Now, do I love it? Yes, I used to eat chitlins. I love them. But I chose not to now because if I eat it now, my blood pressure goes straight to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
I love pork chops. I can't eat them. My blood pressure goes straight. I'm talking about immediately.
Yeah.
I can't eat bacon. My
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure goes up like stroke level.
Good
So
Lord.
yes, you are what you eat. That's why I try to be mindful what I put in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm not what is it? 36, 28. What y'all call it? You know, like the breast, the hips, and the waist and all that.
She's a brick. Dum, dum, dum,
Yeah,
house.
I'm not a brick house. And look,
She's Sergeant
I'm
Mike
not trying to be a brick house. I'm just trying to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you are what you eat. If you eat unhealthy, and I try to teach my daughter that, you know, because I have kids they're so adapted to these fast food places. And my mother, she'll get my little girl anything she wants. And I have to tell her, like, Mama, you can't do that. Or she
Mm-hmm.
gonna end up like me. I don't want her like me. I don't want her obese or have all these health issues. I
Mm-hmm.
want her to be healthy. So we get out, we exercise, we walk, you know. I try to make sure she have fruit and vegetables. I buy her stuff, but it's limited. Because if I buy her cakes and Little Debbie's and junk food,
She
that's
gonna
what
eat
she's
it.
gonna go in the cabinet to get.
Mm-hmm.
But if I buy her fruit, she's gonna go in the refrigerator and grab a fruit or get a banana. So if you put it in the house, you're giving them access to it.
Absolutely.
Just like with me. If I got it there, I'm gonna eat it, but I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me go to who I say I was gonna go to next. Let me go to Bishop. Bishop, what's on your heart? Bishop, you there?
I mean, individuals' eating practices are theirs, and I'm not one to sit around and judge, critique anybody about what they eat and what they don't want to eat. You know, that's them. And being knowledgeable of making sure that we maintain our body, that's our responsibility. Some things are good, and some things are not good for you altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pork is the cause of some of the problems you're having, then leave it alone. Some people will try to use the Bible as their cloak for not eating certain things. And I know for a fact, Paul said, every creature of God is good and nothing to be refused if we receive the thanksgiving. So since I do know that, it's my choice. There are things I don't eat. I prefer not to eat. That's just me.
Bishop, you eat possum? You eat possum?
There are things I prefer not to eat. Growing up in Alabama, let me tell you, they ate whatever they were able to eat.
Okay.
I went into one of my cousin's house, and they had a big old, I thought it was a big rat.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I got an apple in the mouth, too. What the heck? You gonna stick around for dinner? I said, no, I ain't eating none of that. That's a possum. It look like a rat.
See what I mean?
I don't want to eat it.
There you go. There you go. I don't eat it either, sir. Willa, what's on your heart?
Hey, Raheem, I was listening to that question that you asked. You are what you eat. And I was trying to think, I mean, you know, what we eat physically, you know, our body tells us what we should have and what we shouldn't have. I go along, of course, with the last call about what the Bible tells us about the things that we eat. It's not what we put in our mouth that makes us bad, but it's what we do, what we say out our mouth that makes us bad. But I think about the mentality of what we read, of what we're around, of what we listen to, the television shows that we watch, the books that we read. So when I think about eating, I think about that defines me of what I am, because what I take in, the Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so what you put in your mind, what the things that you feed on in your mind, it makes you who and what you are, and it helps you to have that type of that quality of life. So that's what I think about. I think about what we take in as far as the mental capacity that defines who we are. And that's what I believe, you know, when you say you are what you eat.
Absolutely.
You know, because the Bible speaks of that as well. And that's my take on it. That's in my heart, I mean.
Good deal. Tucson, where you at, brother? You good? Talk to me.
No, yeah, man. Well, you did, yeah. Y'all got me speechless today. But when the last time you looked at somebody? I'm gonna go ahead because Willow is right. By the way, you know, people become what they take in, no matter how you take it in. And we take in junk, and we start looking like it. But when the last time you looked at somebody and said, "You sure look like a ham sandwich"? you look kind of like vegetables today. I see you. big pork chop, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun. Go ahead with your bad self.
Boy, don't get no more country than that right there.
Lord. Let it save him, brother. Go ahead, Leonard. Save him. We gotta come to you next, brother. Go ahead, Leonard.
And the conversation, like a lot of people, for instance, a lot of people would have thought that I stopped eating certain things or drinking and certain things because of a religious reason. But it doesn't have to be religious, but it can definitely help how you live your life. And like I like what she said about, because that's what we do with our kids, is about fruit and things like that. And I will constantly tell my wife, especially if you got boys, I don't have girls. They will eat the wrappers that the stuff come in if you let them.
Yeah.
If you buy processed and everything and it's there, that's what they gonna eat. You cook a whole meal, they rather eat up all the cookies and stuff in the cabinet first.
Yeah.
So, and this is that addiction to sugar and things like that is what you have to break in a lot of times. The devil is, look, when you talk about sin and things of that nature, a naked woman ain't got to worry about me messing with her. But a piece of cake gonna have a problem.
Lord Jesus.
Because that's my issue is food. So I had to change. I could stop cooking. You know, if I cook a cake, guess what? I almost eat a cake. So I had to stop cooking things that were not good for me and start focusing more on healthier meals and things like that. And so it's a shame that people are not doing the things that they want to do simply because of issues related to this type of excess and weight. Man, I love what she said about how especially if you have young children, your blood pressure sky high, you could stroke out at any minute, and then your kids are left without a parent. Exactly. You know, I just had surgery not about 6 months ago. You know, and it was very necessary because of my genetics and all those types of things. I have to be very cautious of certain things. So everybody, in one way or another, if you put those bad things in your body, it's going to tell on you.
Yeah.
It's going to tell on you sooner or later. Now, while you're young, you got a high metabolism. But even now, if you notice, there are so many young people now are dying of heart attack, diabetes. You know, I don't know if a lot of people are experiencing this. Like I say, I'm 51, but there are friends of mine younger than me that are actually dying of heart attacks or diseases related, like diabetes and things like that. And it's all closely related to diet and excess. You know, like I know we love to party, but you can't eat and smoke and drink every single day of your life and expect towards the latter end of your life, great health. I don't think it really works that way. If anybody can tell me it does, I would love to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
But excess abusing alcohol, abusing drugs, abusing all these things, that creates a history in your body. And your body not gonna lie. So we have to be a lot careful at that and get involved with things and stop, thinking that it's somebody else's responsibility. Like, look at what they're doing to the food. Well, guess what? Is you gonna start growing your own food, or you gonna start making better food choices?
That's good.
It's up to you. It ain't up to everybody else. It's up to you.
Personal choice. Personal choice. Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Man, that's all true. Everything you said is true. To me, it all comes down to consumption. And then, some of these things we indulge in that are unhealthy for us, they are actually made worse because we don't counter them with healthy activity. Maybe if you do consume too much sugar, or eat too much ice cream, or drink too much alcohol, are you countering that with water? You know how many people I know drink sodas and drink alcohol and say they don't like water? I can't stand water.
Yeah.
I don't drink water. And they are actually telling the truth. I've seen people that don't drink any water, period. They drink sodas, juice, and alcohol. So it's like, I'm wondering, do they really realize what type of damage they're doing to themselves? Because like I said, they're compounding it, especially if they don't go out and counter that with some type of exercise or activity. I didn't realize how important sweat was. But just sweating, getting out, doing some things and sweating, man, and letting the sun hit you with that vitamin D, it actually reinforces or counters some of these things that we do that from what we consume. So I look at that issue, man, and realize that, the convenience thing is really what has us messed up. The most convenient things are the most unhealthy things. Candy bars, Little Debbie's, all that convenient. You don't have to do a whole lot of fixing and baking. If you had to bake every Little Debbie or bake every cake you ate, then you wouldn't eat as many cakes.
Exactly.
But that McDonald's is so convenient, what I'm saying? It gives you time to go do other things. But beyond food, we consume a lot more than food. Like, we look at food as nourishment, but anything we take into our bodies is nourishment, even the information that we receive. We talk about what's going on in this society with the health thing as far as obesity and food, but then let's talk about the morality and the integrity of society too. We were talking about the hypersexuality and the how old people stick together in marriages, but the young people have such an emphasis on sex that their marriages are not lasting. And you know why? Because they are consuming sexual material at too early of an age.
Yes, absolutely.
And they got the internet, they got TV. They are consuming men kissing each other. Our generation consumed Erica Kane, being a bad bee. And my generation saw a lot of women want to be Erica Kane. I want to be like Erica. She's powerful. She has all the men she wants. She sleeps around. She don't care what nobody say. Erica Kane indulged in all her temptations, and then threw care to the wind. And women wanted to do that. They consumed that through media, and they became what they ate. So now we got a whole lot of Jezebels with the having children, and they had a whole bunch of Jezebels, and we wondering what's wrong with the men. What's wrong with the men is our society. We consumed and ate the wrong nourishment.
Absolutely. It's called programming for a reason, brother.
By music,
it's
by
called
our movies, by soap operas. Everything that we consume is a reflection right now. And right now, we are what we eat, and we are regurgitating it.
Absolutely.
You can look at it right now, see what we're giving birth to it. We're giving birth to Luke Skywalker and Too Short.
And like I said again, it's called programming for a reason, man. They know what they're doing. It's called programming.
Consuming.
Exactly.
We grew up on Marvin. We love sexual healing. Love it. Put them on the pedestal. Marvin Gaye is a great sexual healing.
Exactly.
And we had a result of it. We love R. Kelly. Brag about how many babies got made off his music. That's what we consumed. And so, when we consumed it, then we gave birth to it. We regurgitated it, and we became what we ate. And that's a reflection of what society is. Society is a huge ball of confusion. That's a reflection of what it's been consuming.
Absolutely. We got 6 minutes before we get out of here, man. I want to touch a few more person, but before I do that, let me go to Bishop. Bishop,
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna go to you, and I'm ask you this question. I'm gonna circle back around to Curtis. I want him to answer this question as well. A vegetarian asked me a question one time before, and it was a very interesting question. You know, I answered the question, but she said, "How in the world could you eat something dead wanting to sustain life?" And we talking today about you are what you eat. And so her point was we eating something dead, and she was saying she went into the whole conversation about the food that we eat, the meats and stuff that we eat has been tortured, and they've lived a terrible life, and they've been so stressed out and fed all the other things, and then we put it in our body wants to sustain life. What are we intaking? What are we ingesting in our bodies? If you are what you eat, is there any facts and the truth in that?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know. Oh, they've been tortured. When I see them, kill these animals, they kill them. We used to slaughter hogs, and we used to kill them. And before we kill the hogs, we make sure they only eat corn. We make sure their insides are clean. And so,
you know what they did, don't you, Bishop? You know what they did, right? In animal community, they looked at the one that y'all feeding that corn to. They said, "Oh, but you know you next, don't you? You know you next. You up next,
so they
brother."
Stressed out now. They stressed. Oh man, look at I know, man. If feeding them corn, if feeding them wholesome. Oh, I know we next. No, I don't know what goes through an animal's mind because I'm not one of those kind of animals. But I do know what goes through our mind because I'm one of these kind of animals. We walk upright, and we have the mind to be able to reason or recognize issues. Sometimes we walk around here with our eyes wide shut, and we just miss everything that's going on. This topic today is one that allows us to open our eyes. Opinions and views are all great, but after you do all the hearing and listening, then you go back and do the research, and you come back with the more definitive answer as to why I have to be careful about what I put in my body.
Absolutely.
I think everybody's response are great as it relates. I'm very careful. A lot of things I don't eat, and I give you credit for this one. You got me. You stopped me from putting sugar in my coffee. I don't put sugar in my coffee now.
Yes, sir.
And I thought for long I can't live without putting sugar in my coffee. So when you say, "Hey man, try it. Don't put no sugar in your coffee. You can use creams or you can use honey."
Yep.
And I started doing that. And the first time I put honey in my coffee, I'm like, "Man, this junk don't taste good." But then I went from there and tried it again. And got to the point, man, I don't put sugar in my coffee anymore.
Exactly.
So therefore, I'm able to control that part of me. So this topic is very good. I love Rico's. I love everybody's response.
Yes, sir.
But the way we bring it around, we got to look at the things in a little bit more broader than what we do. So thank you so much for the topic.
Hey, to God be the glory.
Even going back to the sex part. Hey, it is what it is. But don't marry a woman for no sex.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Trust me, it's gonna die out. Then what's gonna happen?
Yep. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen?
Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? I'm just gonna tell the truth, brother. I'm saying ain't number one truth. I'm gonna tell it. Curtis, what's on your heart? And then this vegetarian, she was telling me about how the animals, and she was saying the chicken, mainly the chicken and cow, they be slaughtered, be stressed out, treated in a terrible way, and then they kill them, put them on our plate, feed them with, while they're living, they feed them with all kind of stuff, steroids and all kind of things, and now we eat that same thing. You are what you eat. Is there any truth in that, Curtis?
Man, you know what? I try not to go down that rabbit hole, right? So I really don't have anything to say about that. I think it's a rabbit hole. I think a believer, if you're a true believer and you have a meal and you pray over that meal, then is it not questionable that you're questioning God if you're saying that I prayed over this meal? God gave me this meal to nourish my body, right? But then I'm saying, you know what? This food is nasty or this food is not appropriate. I just don't go down the rabbit hole, man. It's real easy. I remember there's a scripture somewhere, I believe it's in Acts, that talks about basically don't look down on the person that eats this or the person that eats that. For if I can't remember the actual scripture, I should go on my phone because I could bring it up on my phone. But it talks about not speaking down on the man who eats, for example, the man who eats pork.
as opposed to you're the man who eats chicken. Don't speak joy, be praise over his food in genuine belief and faith, then the food should be cleansed after he finished praying over it. It's a reason why we say a prayer prior to eating whatever it is that we're eating.
Okay.
So I try not to drift down those judgmental phases of I try to stay away from that, man. I don't never get any good results.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story, man. Then I'm gonna get on out of here. It's something that I know that happened because y'all all know I worked in the prison system for 10 years, and there's sometimes there are people that come through, and I'm sure that Jasmine, Rosalind. I'm sorry, I said Jasmine. Rosalind. She can attest to this as well. There's some people that come through and they act crazy, act like they ain't got, act like something is wrong with them, and they go through the whole antics and stuff like that, and so they start evaluating them. Have the nurses and everybody come down there and evaluate them, and a lot of the guys are telling, man, you better stop that, man. They're gonna put that in you. They're gonna put that in you. Talking about they give them that I think it's called Thorazine. I can't remember. It's been a while ago, and they give them when they give them that medication. When they give them that medication, they're never the same. All right, everybody. We had a little issue here. The whole power actually shut down on us. The whole power actually shut down. And so we're back up right now. I apologize for the little inconvenience. apologize for the little inconvenience. The whole power system went down on us. Everything shut down. And so we're trying to get everything back up and running so we can actually close out the show. We actually passed the time of it.
There are 4 participants in the conference. Please announce yourself.
Yep.
All right,
Exactly.
y'all. Yeah, man. The whole power went down on me.
Oh, okay. We thought the program cut out on you, but the power went out.
Yeah, man. The whole power, it actually shut down on us, man. I was like, man, what is going on here? And so we actually passed the 10 o'clock hour. So we're gonna go ahead on Rico. Tell everybody what's going on at 3 o'clock today.
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Willa.
I stayed on right here. I am so ready. You ready?
I am ready, sis. Let's do it. I am ready.
Father God in heaven, Lord, thank you. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up and see another day, Lord. Father, we thank you for all what you do in our lives, oh Lord. Father, help us to continually understand each other, Lord. You said it in the word, Lord, in Ephesians chapter 6, Lord, and you explained to us that the fight is not against one another, but it's a spiritual battle, Lord. And Father, we thank you for that information, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one's heart on this line, oh Lord. Lead them, guide them, give them wisdom and understanding, and show them your way. Line them up with your will. In Christ Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. And I appreciate y'all staying on for me like that. I definitely appreciate it. The whole power system shut down. I was like, man, I told y'all the lights were flicking. I don't know if you heard me when I said the lights are flicking, doing something fancy. Could y'all hear when I said that?
I missed it, but
okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that. You.
Yeah, but it probably had already
kicked. Easter Bunny head.
That's what it was. Well, listen, man, this has been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank anybody. Got anything before we get out of here? Before I say that,
hey, we was on the phone while you was waiting to get back on and talking about just how what things is going on today, and I seen a headline came up. I wanted to tell everybody to be careful out there today, man, because sometimes we have to deal with things in this world that are very unexpected. So it was a shooting in New York on the subway. 13 people are injured, and the guy had some undetonated devices. And so we're just talking about how somebody's been consuming some type of bad energy to want to go out and commit stuff like that. And just be careful out there, man, because we live in an atmosphere where Rambo and Commando and shooting and guns and action movies rule the day, and everybody want to be like these people. And we've got some hate going on. Just be careful out there today, man.
Absolutely.
We live in a world where we have to keep our head on the swivel. Don't want to live in fear, but at the same time, be aware that you got to pay attention to what's going on around you.
Absolutely, and you be careful too, brother. Definitely be careful as well, man. And I appreciate you letting us know that, man. And if all how they say it, if all hearts and minds are clear, ain't that how they say it, Willa?
All hearts and minds on one accord.
Absolutely. This has been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:08. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed.